Hey, yo, ladies and gentlemen, welcome another episode of the All Pro JAFFOs, bringing you the highly elevated sports talk for the highly elevated sports fan. I am your host, JP.
Hey yo.
You guys know always the fashionably late, but he'll be here eventually. The 6'10 beast from the southeast, Mr. Country K.
I ain't scared of you motherfuckers.
And we've got guests today because it's going to be a bit of a conversation. Dub was here, but then he's not there. But Anthony Dub Alvarez, we've had him on the show before. But the other half of Mr. Dub Alvarez, Mr. Raymond Mason of the Dub and Nizzle Show. Appreciate you guys for joining the show today.
Oh, thank you for having us. It's a pleasure.
Well, it felt almost
And
like the
again-
favor needed to be returned.
Well, thank you. And Country K again for coming on last night. We are sincerely appreciative and grateful to both of you for coming on, and also thankful to Debo, Brian, and Corey for also coming on to join us. That was by far the longest show we've ever done in the 3-year history of the Mizzle and Dub Show. Episode 104, as you guys are on episode 224. So we still got some catching up to do to get to y'all.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, yes, last night's conversation was. I feel like it was a small taste of what happens on this show, especially what you guys witnessed with me and Kay, and then with Corey, and then with it just because again, Corey's the guy who usually shows up with us on our Friday night show to talk a little bit of college football and everything else like that. And as we know, Corey can talk forever. He can go when he has an idea, when he has something that he spoke. It's full force into that. You're gonna have to take some side roads with him in order to get to the main location. It's never a straight line, but I mean that's kind of how it happens here on this show most of the time. We'll be talking about one thing and then it just veers off. We'll end up getting back on the main topic, but you got to take that little trip with us first before we get.
I enjoyed every bit of it.
That's-
Like I told Dub, that was needed because me and him are going back and forth. So to have somebody for me to go back and forth with that's not Dub, that was amazing. That was
Right.
awesome.
And I felt like it was because I said this to Dub last night afterwards. I apologized for me and Kay with like the passionate conversation and everything. That's what we call it. We don't call it arguing. We call it passionate debate. That's what we call it. So some people, when they watch how we go about it at times, it looks combative. It looks argumentative, like we're getting on each other's nerves. But it's not.
No, that was all passion.
At the end of the day, it's not.
All passion
JP,
last night.
JP, you have to understand, even before we did the show, Mizzle and I have been doing this for 26 years. Since September the 2nd of 1997, when we both met our freshman year at Fairfield High School in Fairfield, California. So me and Mizzle have been playing Kornheiser and Wilbon for 26 years before we decided, you know what? Let's send it to the masses and let them watch us do what we've been doing for 20 plus years. So,
yes.
It's all part of the territory, brother.
Yeah, definitely.
I was looking at the time and everything too, going like, wait, I was like, this started at 4. It is going to be 9. Holy shit! Like what?
When I uploaded it, I was like, whoa, we damn near gave 6 hours of content. But hey, when you have passion about something, time flies, and it didn't feel like we did 5 hours of talking though. It
didn't. I knew it was getting bad when the check-ins with the wife started getting a little bit more frequent. The first check-in was I'm getting too loud. Take one of my ear buds out so that I can at least hear how loud my voice is.
Yes.
Which I don't want to be waking up anybody else around me. So that was fine. But then after that, it's going like, what are we doing? How long are we talking? But this show, obviously, it'll be a little bit less than that. But getting into it, the NFL season is upon us. Thursday, 5:20 p.m. The Lions take on the Chiefs, and it's crazy because since we talked yesterday, as much information as we talked about yesterday, a lot has happened in the last 12 hours, not even 24 hours. In the last
we have a
12
developing situation going on in Kansas City, and the whole entire city of KC is in holding their breath because 87 might not go with that hyperextension he suffered in practice today. So right now, the whole Chiefs kingdom is holding their breath.
Yes, they are. Yes.
To be fair, I don't think they should. Now, if it was something like an ACL,
yes.
Oh yeah, then you can start having, but it's something that week 1 against Detroit in Arrowhead. I think they can afford to be safe with Kelsey and keep him out if he needs to.
I agree. They as long
week
as they got 15 back there, that's not all right there.
Week 1 is not necessarily like, and I understand what Corey was saying yesterday and stuff with Patrick Mahomes, how good he is in the beginning of the season. But I mean, I still don't see it as the Lions taking the win, but I think it's going to be a little bit more of a battle. We're going to see a lot. We're going to see as if we haven't seen enough already, we're going to see a whole lot of what even more Patrick Mahomes can possibly do. Now, last year it was, can he do it without Tyreek Hill? Now you can start answering the questions like, you definitely can't do it without Kelsey. And if he does it without Kelsey, it's kind of like, all right, well, the questions are kind of over with. It doesn't really matter who he has. He's still going to be that guy. So this might be that type of opportunity, even though, again, it is Detroit.
Yeah, true. But I think in hindsight, even though, yes, 15 is, let's just say he's the engine, but, I mean, not having 87 out there, not having your security blanket is going to be on these other guys to step up and make plays for him. Not saying that they can't, but, I mean, as we all know, sometimes your best friend is that tight end that can just be open down the seam because, well, me and Miz will always say the seam route is always open.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and being a former tight end, I completely agree with that.
Who's the running back for? Is it still Clyde Allaire?
He's there.
It's Allaire and Pacheco. Right now, it's Isaiah Pacheco.
He still has a running game because that Pacheco guy had a very good season last year, and so
towards the end, because nobody knew who the hell Pacheco was until the last 5-6 games of the season when Edwards-Helaire went out.
Yeah, but don't forget. They still have Jerick McKinnon that they can utilize out of the screen game also. Don't forget about him.
Right, he's a Swiss Army knife.
Basically, what they're doing with McKinnon is what they were trying to do when McKinnon signed with the Niners back before he had the knee issues. Oh my, really, Kay? That's how we feel? Look at that background.
Oh my goodness.
But I mean, with a lot of the news.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Kay. The background of what?
Yeah, I just want to reply to Doug because this is the background of a concern, either Filipino or Mexican father. That's kind of how we ended the show. What was it, Friday? Friday's show, we were still confused if this is a Filipino guy or a Mexican guy because it could be either.
Could be both, actually.
You know what?
See?
To be honest,
one side I can see Filipino and then one side I can see Mexican. So,
to be honest, he could be Islander.
A Mexipino?
It could be a Mexipino, like the guy from San Jose. Shout out to Crossover
one of the smaller Samoans.
I know it. All right, so here's the thing. I saw the video. I screenshot it from. You know what I'm saying? I screenshot it, screen grabbed it from a video. So I'm not sure if this guy is Mexican or Filipino. That's why I narrowed it down to those two nationalities. I know he's not Islander because he was literally watching a kid, and the kid is racially ambiguous as well. So I'm not really sure.
Well, I'm just the black skin that can't tan. That's all I am.
All right, that makes sense.
So, I mean, we're looking into this, and then as we talked, so Mizzle, you being a Raiders fan, we talked a little bit about it, and one thing that I think I didn't really get a chance to ask you, being a Raiders fan, especially with the news that's come out today, with Jones saying what he's been saying. I saw another. I forgot what who it was that said it, but I think it was like a betting odds or something of who was going to be the first head coach fired, and McDaniels was at the top of the list at 6-1 odds.
Not Brandon Staley. I'm shocked.
I'm sure he's probably close, but from the conversation we had yesterday, I understood where you were coming from when it came to, you have Jimmy Garoppolo in there now as somebody who is more familiar with McDaniels' offense and everything else like that.
Yes.
But then we get to the point where, especially now, you start to ask the question, which would you have rather had at this point? A quarterback who has been with you through thick and thin all of these years, or a fairly new head coach who now, as far as we're seeing, doesn't really have the respect of the locker room? So it's kind of one of those, yes, it's a 50-50.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of those toss-up things that you can do, but, I mean, we talked about McDaniels about it at length yesterday. Do we think he's a good head coach? In my opinion, absolutely not. But I think it's universal that people can kind of agree with that, but also agree that he is a good OC. We can give him and that's one of the things. And me and Kay have actually talked about that on this show before. Not everybody is meant to be a head coach in their career in the NFL.
Norv Turner's one of them. Norv Turner, excellent OC. He just wasn't.
You can still make the Hall of Fame. Being a hell of a DC, a hell of an OC.
Yeah.
It's still there, because it's a little bit easier to be an OC than it is a head coach, because head coach, you have to take care of everything. Offensive coordinator, you just have to worry about the offense.
Yeah.
So for McDaniels being a good OC, and Kay put that, on a post earlier today that I saw, being an OC, yeah, he's up there with one of the best in the league. But when it comes to being a head coach, he wasn't any good in Denver. He was going to be an Indianapolis Colt, but turned the jet around mid-flight. And now he's in a situation where he's the head coach of a Las Vegas team where essentially the part owner of the team is the guy who won him Super Bowls in New England. And the guy who is now his starting quarterback is who the guy who partly owns the team wanted out. People forget about that whole situation of the Tom Brady versus Jimmy Garoppolo debacle.
Yep. It was what Robert Kraft wanted Jimmy G, and I believe Belichick wanted Brady.
Correct.
Brady made the move like, look, it's me or him.
Trade his ass. And that's when they gave him to the 49ers.
Yep.
That's what happened there. So you're in a situation now where it's kind of like, man, this is a hell of a full circle story. Like, only in sports does this type of storyline, happen.
Yes.
But with what we see, again, because it doesn't seem like McDaniels necessarily has the respect of the locker room. His top stars, obviously, Derek Carr turned on him, mid-season. He was done with it, especially after the benching. He was like, all right, fuck that. Like, I'm not. Trade me at the end of the season. I don't give a shit what you need to do. I'm not showing up.
Yeah.
And now Jones is essentially doing the same thing. Like, I don't want to be in Vegas. I don't want to play into that guy. I'll play in Vegas and just give me another coach. essentially, is what he's saying.
Yep.
And Devontae Adams has hinted frustrations wanting to leave. The whole debacle with Josh Jacobs this offseason and the frustrations it took to pay him, being one of the better, young running backs in the league who just came off of being the leading rusher last season.
You're tremendous.
So all of your superstars on your team don't like your head coach. So it's kind of like, did you make the right decision by going with McDaniels over Carr?
Yes and no. I'll say it was 9 years long overdue. Carr wasn't winning before McDaniels got there anyway. That one good year where he broke his leg, where they won 12 games that year.
4.
So I mean, it was 9 years of the same thing. I didn't want McDaniels in the first place because I knew it was going to be the Patriots all over again. It's the same thing he did in Denver is the same thing happening with the Raiders right now. Darren McFadden wanted out. They got rid of him, even after they told him that he was going to be a centerpiece of that offense. I get why Mark Davis hired McDaniels because it's something that's a consistency. They won the way he ran it in New England. It won. Trying to bring that chemistry back to the tradition with the Raiders. I just believe McDaniels is a better OC than he is a head coach. Like I said, i.e. Norv Turner. Norv Turner was a hell of an OC. There's no question asked about how Norv Turner ran an offense. Hell, he molded some of the quarterbacks that's in the Hall of Fame. And he just couldn't cut it as a head coach. It just sucks because every year this team has drama. I thought this was going to be the 1 year. We're getting to week 1. I didn't hear nothing. We were good. And now Chandler Jones. I don't understand it. It seems like McDaniels brings that with him. I have no words. That it's.
I wanted to ask this because at some and you can kind of attest this society. We have trouble learning from history. You see something is a constant with someone, i.e. McDaniels, how he is as a head coach compared to how he is as an offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Throughout his entire tenure as a coach in the NFL, you know what he's good at, you know what he's bad at. This, at what point, especially being the Raiders, the Raiders are supposed to be the not like the underdogs, but the bad boys of the NFL. That's the image.
Yes.
Mr. Davis himself right now is probably rolling in his grave. What the fuck do you mean you want to bring in somebody and try to bring the Patriot way after what the hell happened to us all those years ago, all these rivalries and all this shit talking between the Raiders and the Patriots fan base over that game alone.
The organization went backwards when they rehired Gruden. That Al Davis got rid of this man, traded this man because he wanted the power that Mark Davis gave him. And you see how that went. I think the moment that Gruden came back, I mean, we were already cursed as it is because of, Al Davis. Al Davis put that on us by suing the league and winning multiple times, doing it his own way. I get what Mark is doing. He's trying to do it the right way, get it relevant again, apologize, be nice and all that. The third, he's definitely not his dad. He does not have not a bit of his dad in him. And
since you're a Raiders fan, let me ask you this question. Al Davis, say what you will about Al Davis. He was one of the most style and profile, and he was the Ric Flair of fucking owners when it came to the NFL owners. He really was that guy with the glasses, the haircut, the jacket on.
His glasses.
Oh, you looked at him and you just win, baby. That's just what it was. When you looked at him, that's what it was. What the hell happened in the genetic gene pool? The market. Who is his barber? First of all, and he needs to be fired and get the fuck out of here. I've seen Chucky dolls that look better than what he looks like. He looks like you see. What are the, remember the little troll dolls back in the day?
Oh yeah.
But without like it. But if you put a straight Dumb and Dumber Jim Carrey haircut, that's what he looks like. What happened to the style? None of that bled into him. They say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. This one fell off from the fucking cliff. Like this wasn't even close. What is going on with the style here?
He has none of his dad in him at all, and I don't know.
I think it reflects on the team. The toughness that used to be those Al Davis team. Hey, you were going to be the most penalized team in the league. That's for sure. You were always going to draft in the first round the fastest guy, regardless of how good he was. that was always going to happen. But you knew the identity of the team. You knew what they were going to be every single year under Al Davis. Now it's a softer team that I'm sure most of the old Raider greats will look at this going, what the fuck is going on?
We will always have good special teams, though. No matter how the team is, we will always have good special teams. I'll tell you that. And I'm wearing one of them right now.
Seabass.
Yeah. So we'll always have that.
You talk about a legend. Janikowski, that's a fucking legend right there.
Yeah.
That dude, a one step, boot, go have a beer on the sideline type of guy. Like that wasn't Gatorade that he had. No, he had something else in there. Seabass was having himself a good old time. You know, he didn't have to do shit, making millions of dollars, just kicking a football through the uprights. He was cool with that.
Yeah.
He was the stereotypical kicker that you see in the movies. That's always part in the Replacements. Yeah, that was Janikowski. The pub, and go to that was fucking Sebastian Janikowski right there.
Yeah,
legendary.
I gotta share this real quick because looking at this, if I had hair, number one, I'd be scratching and or pulling it out. Okay, so I'm looking at Bleacher Report right now, and I'm looking at Super Bowl bets. Okay, so someone put 11 racks on the Chargers to win the Super Bowl. If that was to happen, person would get $275,000. Someone put 10K on the Niners, he would win $100,000. Someone put 10K on the Chiefs, he would get $60,000. Someone put $7,500 on the Bengals, they would get $82,500. Someone put $5,000 on the Browns, and if they were to cash, they would win $175,000. Someone put $5K on the Bears to win. If that was to happen, they will win 250 racks. And here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. Someone put 1 rack on the Arizona Cardinals to win. If that was to happen, 400,000 racks.
That tells you how bad they think of Arizona right now. The betting odds for that to happen. Holy shit.
Wow.
I just had to share that. I'm sorry.
I wish I had or I wish I had $1,000 to just be able to burn like that. Like just, I mean, fuck, give it away to charity or something. Something a little bit more productive. That's just one of those, that's one of those bets I'll put $20 on and I'll be cool with what I get after that.
Yeah.
Right?
If anything happens from it, cool. But I'm not going to drop no fucking $1,000 on a bet like that. That's just stupid.
No.
That's just, you wonder why people have problems and have, Gamblers Anonymous. It's because people make weird, dumb decisions like that. That's just crazy.
No. I don't like gambling anyway like that. So.
But so we get to the. I'm still thinking with the Chiefs right now. that even with Kelsey, I think he'll be fine. The Raiders, there's obviously some turmoil there. With the Niners, there's more and more talks of there's still a separation. But the last time I
$2
checked,
million, really?
no, no,
Two.
no, I'm not okay with that. I'm not
You're
okay with
still-
that.
Hey,
$2 million.
you guys are short $2 million. He wants $2
2
million.
million, 2 million
Two more.
guaranteed.
Two more million. That's all. That's all that's separating
That's
from him being in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania right now.
wow.
This is what Kay was talking about when he said, like, we don't take care of our star players.
Yeah.
He missed an entire OTA. Yeah, he's getting fined for it. I'm sure he doesn't give a shit, especially once he signs the contract. He's going to make that back, no problem.
But,
Endorsements and all. He's probably making that shit. That's pocket change for him.
And the report is they're saying that he is in the absolute best shape of his life, which I don't doubt because the man is a freak of nature, with the way he's built. Clearly, he is outplayed his rookie contract, which, by the way, he's only making a measly $18 million this year. And I'm said, you know what? If you don't want that $18 million, I will gladly take it off your hands and go on a nice tropical vacation somewhere. I'm just saying, but right now, I mean, the difference is because coming into the season, I said, and Mizzle has heard me say this many times on our show, you have to pay 97. That's the next one. That's the next one to get paid because you've extended.
Especially if it's only $2 million.
Yeah, you've extended Kittle, you've extended Debo, you've extended Fred Warner, you extended Trent Williams.
Kittle.
You still have 2 years of control with CMC. So
how much you got with Ayuk?
He's the next one after Bosa because I think
but that's nowhere near. We're not like
that's a $5 shirt from Didi's. Ayuk is a $5 shirt from Didi's.
When you compare it, it's not.
Gotta worry about. You ain't got to worry about Ayuk.
Is a $5
You don't got to worry about now the Floridian. The Floridian, yeah, you have to shell out some dough for Bosa. He's from Florida.
That is true. He is a Floridian. You are absolutely correct.
You got to pay him. That's dope. No, I'm not trying to compare the contract. I was just trying to see what they're trying to in their mind. A reason why they can't give him the 2.5. That's all I'm trying to figure out.
Because this is what Parag Marathe does. This is what he does. He's been doing this forever. Like how you say, what the fuck is a Bad Bunny? What the fuck is a Parag?
This is, in my opinion, like the definition of being a fucking cheapskate. Like, how much money are you really trying to save? And no. Do you understand how the CBA was done? Every year, your salary cap's going up. Every single year. And there's still, 7, 8 years still left on this 10-year contract that they just handled? That they almost had another strike for and everything else like that? So you have the salary cap going up and up and up and up and up every single year. $2 million is... Why? Why are we worried about $2 million considering what's going to be happening in the future?
Not just
because
that.
Then you will lose that $5 shirt. That's why. That's how much you're gonna have to pay out next year.
Not just that. The freaking shout out to Debo. Thank you for checking in, Debo. That's Debo who was on the
Debo.
That is his alias Cleophas Jones. Of course, he always comes to watch the passion that me and Mizzle dish out from time to time, which we saw last night when JP and K was going back and forth, and Mizzle was having the time of his life. But just to pinpoint on what you said, JP, not just that, the revenue keeps going up year after year after year. The revenue keeps going into the billions. Then the billions that YouTube and Google paid to take away Sunday Ticket away from DirecTV, which Google paid $1 billion more than what DirecTV paid, because last year DirecTV paid 1.5, and then Google/YouTube just paid $2.5 billion to secure the rights for Sunday ticket. But DirecTV still has a deal with the business and restaurants to still do Sunday ticket in bars and restaurants and so forth. But revenue keeps going up every year. They're in the billions, and I'm $2 million measly dollars is what's keeping you from having your best defensive player suiting up to take on the Steelers in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, on the shores of the Allegheny River.
And he's ready to go. Like he's ready to show up. He's ready to be.
He's been ready to report. He's been ready to report. And here
see, this is what the frustrations of being, and it's kind of funny because right now we have one fan, a Raiders fan, who's been dealing with frustration since the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
You've got two fans who have been dealing with frustration since the fucking early 90s, midway early 90s. You got one fan who was dealing with a whole hell of a lot of frustrations before the first Super Bowl, living pretty comfortably right now after the second Super Bowl, but still understands what it means to be frustrated with your fucking team. Mad Sticks, again, he's completely denounced his Dallas Cowboys and becoming a Jets fan. So there's like everybody here has dealt with frustrations in their team.
Shout out to Mad Sticks, by the way.
But I have never been part of a fan base where it's more frustrating because the easiest decisions that need to be made are being made to be the most difficult decisions for no reason whatsoever. The no-brainer plays that anybody in the entire league would make, we just it does not compute.
This is
like
where
we need to do something different.
This is where you need the Jim Tom Sula soundbite to come with it. Maybe you should add that to your soundboard. The Tom Sula.
It's just annoying. It's so annoying because
I mean,
everyone they want to talk about they have the window, they have all of it. You lose Bosa? Whatever window you thought you had.
They right now
you take at least 6 to 7 steps back.
Right now, as it stands, the Niners have at least 2 years to try to win that 6th Lombardi Trophy before you start losing your players. Because as you know, because of the salary cap, you can't keep your teams together, which is why, as much as we can't stand the Patriots, you have to give them their just due for how they were able to still maintain success, losing key cogs, but mainly refreshing and revamping and still being able to not win it every year, but like how we've been in the Final Four 3 of the last 4 years, same thing with the Patriots before Brady left. So in today's, there's a reason why no team has repeated as Super Bowl champions since the 03-04 Patriots. And here's a nugget. No NFC team has repeated as champions since the Cowboys in 92 and 93. So I mean, put that into perspective. It is hard to repeat in today's sports. I mean, if you win, 3 and 5.
Go back to back?
I just said the 03-04.
Oh,
Patriots,
I didn't hear that part. I'm sorry.
No, the 03-04 Patriots was the last team to go back to back. But like I said, no team from the NFC has repeated since the 92-93 Cowboys. And then Jerry Jones decided to mess it up because his ego is too butthurt not to give Jimmy Johnson credit. And as you see, what has happened to the Cowboys since they won Super Bowl 30. But, watching the Cowboys suffer is always a good thing for me. So,
It's just when you watch everything that goes down, it's frustrating beyond belief because again we can sit here and play GM and stuff like that all we want. I guess it's a little harder than we think to make certain decisions. I mean, you hire people to do the fucking math. That's what for when they're dealing with the contracts, the lawyers, and that's what you pay them to do. If you're looking at it and going, hey, The only thing that we are off on, literally, it's not language of the contract, it's not anything except $2 million extra on the guaranteed contract. That is it. It has nothing to do with how difficult it is anymore. It has everything to do with, okay, are we willing to give up $2 million for a defensive player of the year?
Here's what I do know. If it was Carmen Policy or Ada Bartolo, he would have been paid already.
It's more than that. But I hear what y'all saying as fans. Y'all got to realize, you give him that $2 million, I'm joking about it, but that shit gonna bite Brandon Ayuk in the ass because that's your lowest contract you finna buy. That's your lowest contract you about to buy out of the players that's coming up immediately. You're gonna lose him.
I don't know what Brandon Ayuk is expecting that he's going to get.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Out of the players, just think about the next 3 years. Doug just said all of the guys that's coming up in the next 3 years. The lowest tier guy is Brandon Ayuk. So if that's the case, that's the guy you're going to lose. Because if you're obligated to re-sign Bosa, if you're obligated to re-sign the other guy, I think you said Kittle, right?
No, Kittle's been extended.
Kittle was extended. It was somebody else that you said.
So basically, up and coming. Okay, here's pretty much the core you're trying to keep together because obviously Dre Greenlaw is going to come up, and if Hufanga continues to trend, he's going to command a payday if he continues to play the way he is, along with Ayuk. Now here's the thing. Now you can possibly let Ayuk go because you have an up-and-comer from Michigan by the name of Ronnie Bell that has shown he can be a player.
True.
So if Ayuk was to leave, Ronnie Bell can instantly step in and take over that slot. So it would suck to lose Ayuk, but it wouldn't be necessarily a big loss because you got Ronnie Bell to plug right in there. Not to mention, if he can get some playing time, I'm still high on Danny Gray from SMU. He can play. He's fast. He just needs
I think so too. I think so too.
But all right. So I honestly, I really thought you were saying the next 3 guys. Didn't you say it like a little earlier? The next guys that contracts that were coming up. All right, don't really matter. I'm not a Niner fan. I don't really give a shit too much. All I'm saying is out of the guys that's coming up. I mean, like Mizzle said last night. I hate y'all fans. That's what makes me hate y'all. I told Josh that for 3 fucking years.
The delusional fans, yes.
No, and
I hate the Niner fans. That's the only reason why I am the way I am. I have to be a realist because y'all are so blinded to what's going on. That's the same way as the Cowboys. It's like, dude, y'all not gonna win shit with Lil Bachata, bro. That's not ever happening. So,
no, trust me, I get it because it's how I feel about Yankee fans and Laker fans thinking it's their doggone birthright to win the doggone title every single freaking year. No, it doesn't work that way. Now, yeah, I can sit here and say, yeah, my team's going to win defeated. No. I'm thinking they can easily win in between 11 to 13 if everything goes right because you're going to need at least 11 or 12 wins to win the division because Seattle is trending. And if they build off what they did last year, Seattle can give us a competition for the NFC West. It's not going to be just
Seattle can definitely be a 10-win team.
It's not going to be just us sweeping through the division. Now, if you can sweep the Rams and sweep the Cardinals as you're supposed to because they're down, if you can split against the Seahawks, a 5-1 more than likely will give you the division.
Split. I'm not. No, fucking split.
I'll say this.
You sweep the division and you stop fucking around. That's what you need to do.
I agree. I agree, but I like to be as realistic as I possibly can be because I'm not going to sit there and say we are holier than thou because I'd be lying to myself. But rightfully so.
It is more realistic because when it comes to the Seahawks, even historically, you can just go back and look at it. It really didn't matter how good the roster the Seahawks on paper have. They always give us fucking fits.
Yes.
No matter that. Always. Yes. All the fucking time. Even before Russell Wilson was there, they were always a pain in the fucking ass. So, yeah, I can, especially at home, they have, their home crowd and everything like that. Once you can get past that, it's a little bit easier. But
I still
definitely 1-1 is It's more realistic.
I still say the Kingdom was way louder than whatever the heck they call CenturyLink Field now. The Kingdom was way louder than the Link or whatever the heck they call it now.
It was a dome.
That's true too. Now,
all right, not for nothing though. I will say this: the Seahawks are trending up, but the moment that Chris Christensen came to the Bucks, Geno started tripping. I'm just saying. If y'all know what I'm talking about.
But Kay, I do have this question. When are you guys busting out the creamsicle? Because I am a creamsicle jersey fan.
It's game? They already announced it. God dang, I think it's like game 3, game 2. They did. It's pretty early in the year.
Aren't they wearing them twice? Are they going to?
I don't know why. Why would you wear?
It's either game 2 or game 3. I'm not sure. I got to look at the schedule again. But it's really early in the year. Like I have schedules.
Hey, I understand like where you come from as a fan, like supporting the team, and I know you like the creamsicle jerseys. Well, remember when they were back in the day when they were wearing the creamsicle jerseys? They were the worst team ever.
Oh yeah, 0-26
of all time.
0-26.
So why would you want to go back? At this point, you burn that shit. Leave it in the past where it was. We have success with what we got out of it. Why bring back the creamsicle? There's no nostalgia behind that.
It's something about the dang Bucko Bruce logo.
It's the logo, man. That logo is smooth. That logo is like it should be on a.
Bucko Bruce was way doper than Captain Fear. I promise. Bucko Bruce is a dog, bro. Captain Fear cool, but Bucko Bruce was a dog, bro.
Would it not be 100% better if the logo stayed the same, like with the flag and everything, but with Captain, but with the colors of what they have now?
Nah, in order for us to get the 02 Super Bowl, we had to switch it all up. We had to, wash it up. Get it up, figure it out. You know what I mean? Like the same way with the Niners. Y'all had different variations of the 49er logo. It modified a little bit. Same way with like the Giants. The Giants, because I worked at Lid, so I saw every version of the hat. So it was like it modified a little bit. You know what I mean? It wasn't much, but it modified a little bit. Like the Giants, they had the cursive little F or whatever. It was kind of dope. You know what I mean? Seeing the history of all these teams.
Well, I'm just happy my beloved team went back to the saloon font, because that font that they had up until then sucked. It did not say 49ers. So I'm happy they brought back the saloon font, because it just goes right.
Well, my team is just 100% what they are. We don't alter shit.
No, you don't.
You may wear the throwback, that the clean with the silver helmet with the black logo. But other than that, I love where we at with our jerseys. No need to change.
My high school, we were the Raiders. But my freshman, sophomore, but the school colors were black and orange. But my freshman and sophomore year, our football team still went with the silver and black. So, like, there was no orange hint or anything else like that into it. So my dad, he's like, yeah, you may go to the school. You're never going to catch me wearing your fucking gear. It has the logo and everything else like that. Nah, it's like, go Silver Creek. You'll never hear me say go Raiders ever. It's like, okay. So then my junior and senior year, we switched to I thought we were going to go with like the Raider logo with the shield and the pirate. But instead of silver and black, we were going to turn it black and orange. Like have that look. But we decided to go with the SC. Just the orange SC on the black helmet. And he looked at that and he was like, "All right, that's better. I can deal. I can deal with that.
He can get jiggy with that."
But then he goes, "Is like, oh, it still says Raiders on it." I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, okay, then no. If it was just the SC and just Silver Creek High School, yeah, we can talk. But since there's Raiders anywhere on that piece of fabric,
no, he ain't doing it. Understandable.
Nope, not going to do it whatsoever."
Understandable. especially if you're not a fan.
That's what I'm saying. Like out of respect for my father, regardless of how good or bad the team is doing, never ever will we pick them to win a game. My dad always has predicted the Raiders to go 0-16, now 0-17 every year in the pick'ems. Whenever they give him his sheet, it's already circled by that point of who. Like we know who he's not picking, no matter what. That's just
to me that it must not be no money on the line.
Oh no, there was money on the line. They had to put at least
hell.
I think it was like at least like a dollar or two every week, and then there was an entry fee at the beginning. Like it was a nice little pot at the end of the year. Whoever won the pick'ems.
I'm a realist. I pick my own team to lose it with money on the line. I'm sorry.
He has.
Hey, 2020 season, I push you. That second game against the Saints, I did not pick us. I'm telling you, on the show, I was like, yeah, all that. When I got to the point of betting, I did not pick my team. I knew we was going to lose. I'm not even going to pick that money. We just got AB. It was the first game with AB. It was a whole shake-up of the offense. The camaraderie wasn't the same. I knew we was going to lose. The Saints always play us well, so I hear y'all.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I got to be about the money. Now, don't get me wrong. I would love the Raiders to go 17-0, so I can finally understand and know how it is to witness a Super Bowl victory. I've witnessed a Super Bowl loss. I would love to witness a victory. So
he was
it
very
wasn't
sad.
just a loss either.
He was very sad that day on January the 26th, 2003, which happens to be the last Super Bowl ever played in January.
5 days after my birthday. 5 days after my birthday, I had to witness the Raiders take a thrashing like that in the Super Bowl. I was crushed.
You should have seen how the first Super Bowl when we went up against not the first Super Bowl, the second Super Bowl went up against the Chiefs. The end of that game, my wife looked at me going, she's like, "Well, I guess the season's over," and I was like, "Yeah, thanks." She's kind of like, "Oops." Like, man, she's ruthless. Like, she didn't even let the wound heal.
And I'm going to explain why. For most of Super Bowl 47, we were not ready to play. We weren't. And by rightfully, we should have got our ass kicked by the Ravens. Instead, the damn lights go out because Beyonce and then pay the damn light bill in the Superdome. And then the back happened. But we were not ready to play against the Ravens in the first half. Are
we losing?
Get your head out of your ass.
Well, we lost them up until the get your head out of your ass point. It was like that was definitely a get your head out of your ass moment because the opportunity was there.
Loss. Definitely.
Well, you shouldn't have ran the same damn play 4 times in a row. You should have gave Frank Gore the ball at least 2 times. Somebody got. Go ahead, brother.
No, keep going. I'm adding context to your message. I'm just putting a little sprinkles on your message. Go ahead.
You thought you run the same play 4 times down there when you should have gave it to the person that got you down there, which was Frank Gore. Frank Gore was eating the whole game. The
inconvenient truth.
But you tried to go to Michael Crabtree. I mean, you should have learned the lesson when you tried to go up against Michael Crabtree and against the Seahawks. And what Richard Sherman said. So
they are who we thought they were.
Hold on. I just thought of something. Since y'all won y'all last Super Bowl with Joe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Steve.
No.
Oh, Steve.
Yeah, Steve Young was the last one.
Right, I'm sorry.
He destroyed the Chargers.
Because Joe dipped out.
20.
And Steve got the last one. And then y'all had fucking Jeff Garcia after that. All right, cool. You're right. Sorry. No, Jeff Garcia was good for the Bucks. But no. So yeah, since Steve, whenever y'all get to like big games, y'all lose them motherfuckers because y'all don't run the ball. If you really think about it, like y'all have a decent run game and you always lose the game because you don't run the ball.
Well, again, like
it turns into the same situation. He's not lying.
I have gotten into arguments with Niner fans because they all okay. For example, yes, I understand and get it that Kyle Williams fumbling the ball 2 times did not help against the Giants in 2011. But this is my counter to that. We are not talking about Kyle Williams if they don't go 1 for 13 on third down conversions. Because if you convert at least 3 or 4 of those, I guarantee you David Akers is going to kick a field goal and you can let your defense play. Because that's the one thing I've circled is, okay, yes, the 2 fumbles do not help. True enough. But 1 for 13 on third down. If you go 1 for 13 on third down, chances are you're not going to win a football game. You're just not.
I'll second that.
That's true. That's very true.
That is
very, very true.
And again, as I said last night, I go back to 2021. Why is Deebo Samuel not touching the ball for the last 12 minutes and 42 seconds of that game?
Wasn't he killing that game though?
Well, we are nowhere near the title game without his contributions in 2021. 2021, Deebo Samuel left his soul on the field at SoFi, and you saw because he had the towel around his head crying because he knew he left everything on that field at SoFi in 2021 against the Rams.
And you know why? You know why he lost that game? Because he's now my quarterback.
True enough.
An overthrow to a wide open fucking receiver. But I mean, the main thing in that, and I've always made the argument is whether or not Deebo was running the ball. You know, again, because he had already put and done enough, you know, on the field for a win to be produced. Mostert was doing enough. They should have just given him the ball and given him some touches and stuff too. I always go back to in the fourth quarter, with 10 minutes left, the Kansas City Chiefs, while down by 10 points, were given 4 opportunities. 4. All 4 of the 49ers' possessions were averaging under a minute. That's what killed it. They stopped running the football. He wants to, again, I don't know what it is about Kyle Shanahan's ego that he wants to make things he wants to look like the fucking Wonder Kid so bad that he's so afraid to do the basic shit. The basic stuff to win you football games, he always wants to do something fancy or fucking cute. He was embarrassed because Jimmy Garoppolo was getting all the shit in the world for throwing 9 times, while Mostert went and fucking decided he wanted to break some records that day in the NFC Championship game.
They didn't need to throw the ball.
Exactly, but that was the thing. He got so into it, like, oh well, you know what? I want to have them prove the doubters wrong. I want Jimmy to have that shine.
Yep.
He put the ball in Jimmy's hands, and he did exactly what we knew he was going to do.
Yep.
People have always like asked and said like, oh, Jimmy has had these, you know, clutch moments and everything. I was like, no, you can't have a clutch moment when you're the reason why you're in that situation to begin with. Your fuck ups are what got us there. You don't become clutch because you put a Band-Aid on your fuck up. You were the reason why we were there in the first place. I'm not going to call you clutch just because, one, your defense kept you in it and your run game kept you alive. That's my whole thing. Like, he tries to get too fucking cute with it.
Yeah.
And it bites us in the ass every time, whether it's decision making in a big game or drafting somebody. That's how it's gone down.
Now, you just talked about how in the championship game in 2019 against the Packers, he only threw the ball 8 times. Every time I say this stat, people lose their mind. But I'm going to share it live on the show so the Jaffa Army can understand what I'm about to say. Super Bowl 8, when the Dolphins went back-to-back after their perfect season in 72, they beat the Vikings 24-7 in Super Bowl 8. Bob Greasy, who's in the Hall of Fame, whose son is the quarterbacks coach on the Niners, Brian Greasy. Bob Greasy, in that whole entire game of Super Bowl 8, only threw 7 passes. He completed 6 of them. He was 6 of 7 for 73 yards.
But what was the running game?
Oh, Larry Zonka. Larry Zonka
decided to go the fuck off. That's what.
Larry Zonka ran the ball 33 times for $145 and 2 touchdowns. I rest my case.
There was no need to throw the ball.
But you have Kyle Shanahan after the NFC Championship game going on air in front of the press and the media saying, "Hey, we'll do what got us here. If it ain't broke, don't fix it." And then in the biggest game of the fucking year, you went away from it.
You went rogue.
Why? What is it so difficult about the easy decisions?
Harbaugh did the same thing, though.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's just a 49er organization, the Eddie D curse or something like that. It could be the Charles Haley curse from when we traded him back in the day. You can revert it back to whatever curse that you want to. The organization has had some sort of problem with their head coach understanding, and it's odd because these two coaches are best known for their run game.
Correct.
What they can do in the run game.
Correct.
And for some reason, both of these coaches decided their ego was bigger than what the game of football was, and they wanted to prove that they were better than what they were.
Definitely Harbaugh. That's for sure. That's why you do it 4 times.
Here's the thing.
Quarterback coach.
Here's the thing. If you're Kyle, you should have taken 1 page from your dad. Super Bowl 32.
Oh.
He rode Terrell Davis until Terrell Davis could not run no goddamn more. Yeah.
Terrell Davis couldn't see a damn thing.
Terrell Davis had a headache, but you know what? Mike
Give me the ball.
Just give me the ball. And he said,
"You run 2 yards with a headache."
Yeah.
Coach, I can't see. Can you move forward 2 yards?
We're gonna fake it to you. We're gonna fake it to you.
That's cool. We're just not going to give you the ball, but they're not going to believe it if you're not out there.
Exactly.
But Coach, I'm blind. I don't even know where to line up. Like that's.
And he has said this on TV, so that's not a fabricated story right there.
Seriously, that's documented. Well documented.
It's on the NFL Films official video of Super Bowl 32. But my point is, he rode number 30 to that Super Bowl title because
just like he said about the owner, the apple. I guess the apple just didn't come right.
I'm starting to try and think that, and this is where I really started to kind of think it, and it's kind of been consistent throughout the years of watching football. Especially, it was enlightened to me after the Seahawks-Patriots Super Bowl.
Oh
boy!
It has been. I feel like it's almost been a concerted effort to make sure that the Super Bowl MVP is the quarterback.
Well, I know, but before you continue, I'm going to tell you why Marshawn Lynch didn't get that ball, which he should have. If Marshawn Lynch would have just did interviews, just showed up, didn't cause anything, Marshawn Lynch would have scored that touchdown, he would have been the MVP. And guess what the MVP got to do?
Talk.
Marshawn Lynch wasn't talking to nobody unless your name was Deion Sanders. So
can you imagine? Can you imagine if the Super Bowl MVP would have showed up and
I'm here, so I won't get fined.
exactly. So that's the reason why Marshawn Lynch thinking, because guess what? They had 4 opportunities to score a touchdown. And Marshawn Lynch, you mean to tell me Marshawn Lynch didn't lose a yard that whole game?
No.
I don't think
Marshawn Lynch was bruising.
I don't think he lost a yard the whole playoff run. So you mean to tell me he couldn't get 2 yards just like Frank Gore couldn't get y'all 2 yards? So I agree with what you're trying to say. Like, it's just not giving the running back credit. But Marshawn Lynch wasn't going to get that credit because he was going to be the MVP because that man had at least over 100 yards. And a couple
that's where I was thinking the conspiracy was going, oh, yeah, they did that because they wanted to give the MVP to Russell Wilson because they knew it couldn't go to Marshawn.
No.
Marshawn Lynch was doing so good that game, and everybody who was watching that game knew if you were really a fan and an actual observer of the game of football, you knew Marshawn Lynch is the MVP of this fucking Super Bowl, and he just robbed Tom Brady of a fucking another one.
And you know what?
And this is what happened.
But I said he should get it, but he won't get it.
You know what the funny thing about that is? Because about 3 plays before, Javon Curse, on the seat of his ass, makes that ridiculous catch. And you see Tom Brady on the sideline talking about, this stadium, I am cursed. Because that was the same stadium where the David Tyree helmet catch took place.
And the Mario Manningham on the sideline.
And
the Super Bowl after.
So basically, like,
he was talking about he's like, what the fuck is going on with all of these ridiculous you can't have that type of catch and end it on a 2-yard slant in the end zone on second down.
That man felt defeated. He knew that it was over.
Yes.
I mean,
and then we hear the famous Tom Brady giggling like a little girl.
Yeah. But I don't like that son of a bitch at all. But that's a joyful moment though, because he gave you the saddened part of, like, fuck, it's over. I'm done. I can't win in this damn place. Just to have that and to fuck Marshawn Lynch over because you didn't want him to be the MVP. You overthought your franchise over.
And I had thought about that for the Niners and Ravens situation. You give the ball to Frank Gore, he scores a touchdown, he wins the MVP because Frank Gore that entire game was the only thing that was working for the fucking Niners up until that.
Well, Vernon Davis too, because no linebacker could cover Vernon Davis on that field that day.
And then he met a man named Cam Chancellor, and that changed his entire career.
Changed everything.
So everybody knows that hit. That hit of Vernon Davis on the sidelines what changed his career forever. Agreed. The career trajectory went straight from this to never anymore, because every time he played Cam Chancellor, he played scared.
I think Mike
always played scared.
He won a ring after that, though.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Cam did. Yeah.
True that.
But they could have had another one.
Vernon won a ring after that. It don't matter.
Where Vernon
Davis got a ring
with the Broncos in Super Bowl 50. Super Bowl 50.
Oh my
he was
God!
Hey, we taking
in the house that rejected him. Oh my Lord!
Yeah, he was a part of the Broncos team where Peyton couldn't throw the ball 5 yards.
Vernon Davis was one of the reasons why that stadium was fucking built.
Agreed.
And see, only in sports can this type of shit happen. Only in sports can this type of shit happen. You can't write it any different. But I looked at it that way with Frank Gore. He would have got the MVP, and it would have taken away from at that time, the story of Colin Kaepernick before everything went where it went. At that point in time, everybody was enamored with Colin Kaepernick. Everybody wanted to know about him. So you wanted to make him the hero of the situation. He ended up failing spectacularly throwing to the same person who everybody knew he was going to throw to that entire time.
Well, he's a run-read quarterback. That you take away his run-read. Or if you wasn't going to run Frank Gore, run an RPO.
No, here's the thing. Here's the thing. The quarterback keeper that they did run, Harbaugh calls a timeout. If that play would have possessed, Kaepernick would have scored because there was no Raven in sight of him. Harbaugh calls a timeout.
He sabotaged the drive.
Him and Greg Roman couldn't make a fire if you gave them kerosene and gas. Because first off, the first play, okay, they actually ran the ball once. Why in the hell are you going to Michael?
Get the spark off the break.
They did run the ball one time, but why in the hell is LaMichael James running the goddamn football? LaMichael James, really? The same guy that fumbled in the first half? That guy? Okay, if he didn't,
drive was over there. That's where the drive was over right there.
If he didn't hurt himself, I would have been more comfortable with Kendall Hunter running the goddamn ball as opposed to LaMichael James.
His ass off the whole year.
But that was one of those examples where Kay brings up that this could happen, is one of the things that could happen with Shanahan. Because when that situation, a coaching blunder, John Harbaugh, and what was everybody talking about with Jim Harbaugh when he was with 49ers? How great of a coach he was. Holy shit, this guy could be the second coming of Bill Walsh. All this other type of shit that they were putting on this man's name. And that coaching blunder, what happened right after that? He went 8-8. He couldn't get along with the general manager, and our fucking owner is too stupid to realize that our head coach was better than the general manager. Look where Chet Baalke is now. He was inherited a fucking Jacksonville Jaguars team. Okay, and he needed the help of
Tom Coughlin.
Tom Coughlin in order to be able to get that done. So that decision created a turmoil for the next 5 years of the team before things started going back up again. But it's looking with the decisions. It's literally like, oh, it's deja vu. I've seen this shit before, and I don't like it. I don't like seeing the same fucking thing that I saw last time happening. No, this isn't fun for me, like whatsoever. I'm watching this game. They're up by 10. I don't give a shit. I'm not comfortable. Not at all.
I kid you
10
not.
10 minutes left. Nope. Still don't care.
I kid you not. When it was under 6 minutes and it was still 20-10, and Mizzle can tell you this. Mizzle and our good friend who's a Jets fan, Marquise McDonald, who's watching. Shout out to Marquise. They're all telling me, "Ant, congratulations." I said, I don't see 4 zeros on that clock. This game is not over.
Yeah. Nope. No. Some way, shape, or form, it's going to go south.
You guys could have blew that again. That's what I was thinking. There's no way. I would have to think.
There's no way that Shanahan could literally have done it twice.
Right.
But
right?
But he did.
Atlanta, he would not do what he did in Atlanta. I'm like, okay. This is simple.
He's done it 3 times.
Game plan is simple.
What did 3 times? 3 times he's done it.
Hold on. What did Kyle Shanahan say after the loss in the Falcons game? I'm going to learn from our mistakes. And when I get back here again, I'm going to learn from my mistakes and make sure that doesn't happen again.
Well, what is he supposed to say, though?
What happened, Kyle?
Yeah, well.
Where's the learning, Kyle?
We're waiting, Kyle.
A little late for that, Kyle. We need to get our shit together, Kyle. You say you learn. You say you have the tools. We're gonna use what got us to the dance. You say all the right words, and then you just want to find some way to fucking just ram it up your own ass. Like, that's just, I don't understand where some of this logic comes from in this decision making.
It's not logic, because if it was logic, they would have ran the football, JP. It's not logic.
No, because what I think me and Dub talked about this on one of our episodes, where a lot of sports is going with analytics, And analytics is just like playing prevent defense in the fourth quarter. It can cost you a game. I'm more of a flow kind of guy when it comes to the sports. If my running game is going good, guess what? Until you stop this motherfucker, we about to run it down your throats. Okay, I may sprinkle in a couple of play actions here, or I may, try to switch it up with something that kind of make it feel like I'm gonna run the ball, a draw play, a play action out of the shotgun with a little screen. But I'm not about to go downfield. No, I'm not stopping that momentum. I'm running down your throat until you stop it. That's
one of the great stories. One of the great stories. The 82 NFC Championship game, the Redskins and Cowboys, and the Hogs kept saying, Randy White, we're running at you. We're running at you. Okay. Joe Theismann only called one play. 50 gut, 50 gut, 50 gut. They fed the diesel John Riggins, and John Riggins did what John Riggins does. Of course, if you know about football, the Redskins' famous run play was the counter gap. That was their bread and butter. Ask the Denver Broncos about Timmy Smith in Super Bowl 22. Back to the Harbaugh thing. One of the bread and butters of the Harbaugh era was the stretch play to Frank Gore. That was the bread and butter run under Harbaugh. With Shanahan, it's the zone run scheme. I know a lot of people don't like the zone run scheme, but it has been a Shanahan staple, and it has worked.
It works.
But for the life of me, to piggyback off of what JP said, for the life of me, I'm sitting trying to understand is, okay, you got a running back that's averaging almost 5 yards a pop. You got another guy that's almost averaging 6 yards a pop on jet sweeps and reverses. So you mean to tell me, even though it's working, and the defense has no answer, you still mean to tell me you want to throw the football? Why? Why?
I'm smart. Trying to be smart. That's it.
That's like Sean Payton not running the ball and wasting clock against the Rams.
That's what I'm saying. That's not smart though. Like what? Okay. When I was growing up and being taught the game of football, one thing that I always knew: if your run game was averaging 4 yards plus per carry, you're winning the game. Because that means you're able to just fucking walk it down. 4 yards really a play is all you need to just walk it down and score. That's really it. So if your run game is averaging 4+ yards, keep doing it until we've always heard it. It's a cliche. It's an old thing that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If you can't fucking stop it, keep fucking going. Why stop? And then now we're in a point in time where I don't know if going, and I'm strictly talking about football and stuff here, people, like, relax. Let's not think of it further out of society or anything else like that. The way it looks here is they want to go outside of the norm so much. Everybody wants to be unique. Everybody wants to stand out in some sort of way. We would be naive to say that none of these head coaches in the NFL have massive fucking egos. Okay. We can't think that that's not a thing. And everybody wants to prove the media wrong. They see a certain stat and they go, you know what, we want to be the one in that, we want to be the one in that 99 and one type of thing. Like they want that. They're so enamored and so driven to want to do that they end up. I really would love to see, and shout out to Cole. Maybe he can come up with this percentage. I know how he is with stats. The A7FL. I want to see what the percentage of coaches who have gone away from the norm and how often that's worked out, especially in certain situations. In certain situations, there's no need to get cute. There's no need to, try something crazy. Try something that, oh shit, the whole. I don't want to have the conversation of, oh, If it works, he's a genius. If he doesn't, he's an idiot. That should never be the fucking case. We should never be. It should always be the smart choice every single time. It's a game. It is not that. Look. Regardless of popular belief, it is a difficult, like, especially if you get into it late. It is definitely a very, with the language, certain plays and stuff like that. It's a difficult sport to pick up when it comes towards the language and understanding certain motions of the game. But once you figure that out, it's God, once you have the IQ, it's God-given athletic ability at that point. That's going to take you as far as it's going to take you. If you have the IQ and you have the God-given talent, you're going to be good. You're going to be playing at the D1 level. You're going to be in the NFL level. It's every single person in the NFL has a very elite football IQ. You cannot be in the NFL and be stupid. You're not successful.
Yeah.
You can't not know what the hell is going on in the NFL. So that whole, the dumb jocks, no, some of these guys are some of the smartest fucking human beings you will ever meet in your life.
Agreed.
Like, you have a conversation with them. Honestly, have an honest-to-God conversation with them. Try having a conversation with Richard Sherman or somebody like Ryan Fitzpatrick, Mr. Harvard himself.
Yeah.
You like try having conversations with them and go like, holy shit. Like, these are very well-educated individuals. They have those degrees. Some of them, they go back to get them. It takes them a little while to go, but nonetheless, they go back and they have those degrees. These are very smart individuals. So to make the game of football even more complicated than it already is, which is not, shouldn't be that complicated to understand when you're already at that level, because it's the basics. We've learned all the basics since we were kids. We know what works. We know what doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mizzles, you said, it's about the feel of the game. It's all about momentum. When you play the game for a long period of time, or you've been a part of it, noticing it, you always know when that momentum shift happens.
Yep.
That moment where you can feel, oh, there's a change in this game. There's this, there's a shift in this. Like, there's a feel. Everyone has that feeling, that energy of, oh shit, okay, well, all right,
mm-hmm.
we know what's going to happen here.
Mm-hmm.
And going off of analytics in those types of situations, I understand analytics are good for certain things. We can't say they aren't, because we can look at analytics, we can look at stats, and with that information, we can come up with a good game plan or good idea. So it's not like useless.
Yeah, well, then analytics told him to keep running the ball.
Yeah, well, again, when you have analytics that are telling you, when we look at it, not 4 yards a carry, but 6 or 7. You're averaging 6 or 7 yards a carry.
You should continue to run it.
You decide to go away from that when you're up.
Yeah.
28-3, 10 points against Kansas City. That's 2 situations there where your run game would have won you the game, but you decided to, I want to live up to that offensive guru that everybody thinks that I am.
Analytics can go to hell.
It doesn't give you the full story of a game. You can look at a game on tape, like the final box score and everything else like that. You can look at that, think of a final score, but what happened on paper doesn't. That's why you hear that saying that goes around. Yeah, it was a big loss, but it wasn't as bad as a loss as it looks on paper. Yeah, they lost by 1 or 2 touchdowns, but you see that there was that. It wasn't like like they just lay down and die type of situation. Like it was bad, but it wasn't bad type. We had Coach Alonzo Carter, running back coach, assistant head coach over there at San Jose State. You know, he was telling us this story that he was talking to, you know, one of his friends about a game that he had just coached that Friday night when he was coaching at high school. You know, he said, yeah, you know, the game, it went this, and that. And the momentum, you can feel that there were certain things. Well, what was the feel? Oh, we lost by 30 points. But there's a story that's interwoven in the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an ass whooping, but how did all of the players respond to that ass whooping?
Mm-hmm.
Did they give up or did they keep going? There's a story that's interwoven. You can look, I would take the team that gets their ass whooped but kept fucking fighting the entire game than the team that gives up. 100%.
I agree.
100%. I don't care if we went 0-16. If 0-16, every single one of those games, y'all never gave up. No one ever, everyone fought their fucking damnedest. We came close a couple of games. I'll take that over a team that, goes, and this is what I was saying about when it comes to, the Baker Mayfield situations. There's that soundbite for him. When it came, this is where I said like the Browns, it's a situational thing. But people forget that the Pittsburgh Steelers had one of the worst collapses in NFL history. They started off the season 11-0, 12-0.
Correct.
Chase Claypool is a rookie, had double-digit touchdowns. All of it, like they were riding. Juju was at the height of his TikTok days. It was just the Pittsburgh Steelers were fucking feeling themselves that season.
Yeah.
And then what happened? It came down to the last game of the season, and they thought, you know what? We own that. Ben Roethlisberger, man, I own the fucking Browns. Look at my career. I've been beating the Browns my whole goddamn life. I ain't worried about the fucking Browns.
Correct.
You know what? Let's let them have week 17. Let's let them into the playoffs, because guess who they play in the playoffs week 1, and guess who that's basically a bye week 4 for us. And then what happened? The collapse actually complete.
They came to Pittsburgh
first round. Yeah. That's exactly what happened. The football gods don't like that kind of shit. You play it out. Whoever wins, wins. You don't allow the team that you thought you're okay. Watch this. And it comes back to bite you in the fucking ass. That's exactly what happened with the Pittsburgh Steelers. It just so happened that, was on the team. So that could have happened with any quarterback in that situation. The ego of the Pittsburgh Steelers at that time got in the way, and that's the reason why they lost the playoff game. People can argue about it either way. I'm just saying, situational-wise, if you look at the full story of the NFL season that year, that was one of the most miraculous fucking collapses that I have ever seen in my entire life. That was ridiculous. They were talking about that team winning Super Bowl. Big Ben is going to ride off into the sunset type of shit. And it just destroyed. Just destroyed. It was almost as bad as Tebow taking him out in the playoffs in OT. It's about that same level of kicking the nuts for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
You can't surmise. First off, you can't surmise the Browns situation you can't just sit here and blame the Pittsburgh Steelers had a major collapse in their season, so that's the reason why the Browns won. No. If the Browns were that bad, Baker Mayfield was that bad, Pittsburgh should have won. Simple and plain. If they were that bad, they should have won. Simple and plain. Like, I hear what you're saying, but again, you can't just do that. Like,
But
that man won that game.
But you also got to remember, and this is one thing that I told you when it comes to him. He will have, because there is that saying, any given Sunday, anything can happen.
Correct.
If you tread lightly, you don't take your opponent seriously enough or anything else, you're going to find yourself on the losing end of a shitty situation. Okay, so now you have. Sorry, I got distracted there for a second. So now you have a situation where. Fuck! I lost my thought. Where did I start with on that?
Look, it didn't really matter because what you was basically saying didn't apply. You're trying to keep saying any given Sunday he just won on the sheer luck or wish upon a star type of situation. No, the man won that game. He had. Oh, there we go. Yeah, he has a couple of games where it's like, every quarterback has that. They won 11 games that season.
Hey, even Ryan Leaf had a couple of games where people were like, "Damn, hey, that looks pretty good." Yeah. Every quarterback has a couple of those games
with an offense, and he won 11 games in a playoff game. That's what happened. He had a shit situation his first 2 years. He got a coach with an offense, and they won 11 games. He tore his labrum the next season, and people start looking down at this man. So Odell Beckham Daddy started going at the man too, which is fine because I get why. I get why he did that. It was a bad situation for Odell. The LA was a better situation for Odell. I get it. It's cool. He just won a playoff game the year before. They won 11 games.
Again, I look at it. It's all he had, and that year he didn't have stats that like, oh shit, like Baker Mayfield is the reason why the Browns. Like, no, he was carried by the run game. He was carried by the run game, and he had Odell and Jarvis Landry when Jarvis Landry was at his peak. It was kind of after that we didn't really hear much of Jarvis Landry after.
Jarvis Landry was at the back half of his career.
Well,
Jarvis was done. Odell was.
If that was his peak, then that's
Nick
not bad.
Kareem Hunt was killing.
Yep.
I get you,
they were destroyed.
Baker could have literally thrown that season to shit. You want to know how I know that? Because I had quarterback throw 30 picks and 5 fumbles. I'm not trying to hear this shit you talking about, guy.
I believe he's talking about Mr. I believe that's Mr. Jameis Winston.
The 30 for 30 himself.
So I hear what
30
you're
for
saying,
30 himself.
but I literally had a quarterback throw our season away. When you talk shit about a guy like Baker, when I sit here and have a guy like Jameis, it don't compute. It don't compute to me. That's why I will give you so much.
It's an upgrade. Yeah.
Until he shows me he will throw a season away. Baker hasn't thrown a season away yet. So I cannot agree with you until he does.
Here's the question I have for you then that I haven't asked you. I've told you that, I told you that Baker Mayfield is going to be the reason why Mike Evans' streak of 1,000 yards comes to an end this season.
Which is bullshit.
Now I know you. I understand, and you're arguing he's done better with worse. I understand that. I get it. If that does happen, would you agree with me and say it was a wash and Baker Mayfield needs to go?
I can't even fathom that bullshit because he had 1,000 yards with Mike Glennon and Chris fucking Sims. You are not going to get me to go down this alley with you. He had Mike fucking Glennon, dude. He is a statue. Mike Glennon can't run for shit. You are not. I repeat, you are not going to get me to ride Baker train until he shows me that he will throw a season away. You're not. I watch Jameis Winston every fucking week throw 3 picks and give the other team the fucking game. He had one game in his career against the Rams where he threw fucking 5 touchdowns and we had 50 points. That was one game. His whole 5 years with us. I can't think of no other good game with Jameis Winston. One fucking game. My best game when Jameis Winston was with us is when motherfucking Ryan Fitzpatrick beat the motherfucking Steelers. He was screaming on the field and he fucking wore that shit, Deshaun Jackson shit in the interview. That was my favorite fucking Jameis Winston game. When he was on the sideline hurt. So I'm sorry.
You can tell how much Country K does not like Sir Jameis Winston.
You are not gonna get me around
genuine
until he throws a season away. Every time Baker had good receivers, he's done well. Even when he was in college, I know you hate to say it, he had good receivers and they did well. That's what happened.
He had one Sedarius Lamb. You're absolutely correct, and he also had Mr. Rambo. You're correct.
When he had a good,
Hollywood Brown too.
He done well.
Yes, he did.
All you gotta say.
Yes, he did.
That's all it is. Like when you look at a quarterback, what do they do with good receivers? Do they throw the season away, or do they perform well? Until Baker shows me otherwise, he performs well with good receivers. I'm sorry. That's what the deal is.
I can't wait.
Quarterbacks in the NFL be trash. Every one of us had quarterbacks. Y'all, you and Doug, Mizzle has had quarterbacks where they were absolute jack shit garbage. And you know it from every time he took a snap.
Had him a few years.
People like, I fucking hate this dude.
Let's see. Where do I go? Cody
where can I
Pickett,
start?
Ken Dorsey, Tim Rattay. I mean, JT.
Oh, Tim Rattay! Love me some Tim Rattay.
Where you want to where you want to go, Kay? Steve Stinson from Stanford.
But that's the point. That's my point. Baker isn't those guys.
Up until now.
That's it.
Up until now, since Steve Young, up until now, Jeff Garcia was like the highlight because he took us to the playoffs that 1 year in 2002.
Agreed.
Jeff Garcia has been the highlight at the quarterback position for the San Francisco fucking 49ers.
Correct.
Since Young.
Hello, Rich fucking Gannon. Rich fucking Gannon.
Oh God!
He won an MVP.
Correct.
I would like to thank you so much for John Gruden cheating ass.
But at least you,
no disrespect, like no.
Would you rather have Derek Carr?
I thank you so much for that.
Hey, here's a fucked up situation about that. This when the Pro Bowl was played after the Super Bowl. Rich Gannon threw those fucking interceptions in the fucking Super Bowl, and then the next couple of weeks at the Pro Bowl, that motherfucker was hitting everything like he was a Swiss Army knife. I'm talking about darting passes, but he couldn't make the Super Bowl.
Look, John Gruden has came out to be a scumbag, so I can say this: that man cheated.
We know that.
That man cheated.
We had Jesus on our squad. That's his only loss in the Super Bowl was wearing the silver and black uniform. Jerry Rice ain't lost no Super Bowl in his career until he put on a silver black uniform. And he came out
that I think could have possibly been where the beginning of the end was because we didn't do right by Jerry.
Nope.
There's no fucking reason.
You sure didn't.
Why Jerry Rice should have ever put on a uniform for any other team, let alone the fucking silver and black.
Hell, I feel the same way about Tim Brown. And he ended up going to play with John Gruden in Tampa Bay.
I appreciate, like I said, as I said before, I appreciate you and everything y'all done for us in Tampa. No disrespect, like for real though, like appreciate that Super Bowl, like for real though, like appreciate that Super Bowl and everything that came with that. Yeah, shout out to y'all. Shout out to the Raiders. Shout out to Al Davis.
That year, y'all can choke on that ring.
Hey, look, that's all good. We got one in 2002 and then one in 2020. So we got the 20 together.
To be completely honest, I feel like the Buccaneers, regardless of who they played in that Super Bowl, would have probably had the same result. That defense was
if you look at both Super Bowls,
pretty ridiculous that year.
Brother, remember we
both
just
Super
talked
Bowls
about
were the same thing.
what we talked about? You don't go away with wins. The Raiders that year, run game was immaculate. There was nobody stopping our run game that year. Do you know what they did the week before they got to the Super Bowl? They altered to passing plays.
Send me right. Oh yeah, no, that shit wasn't fun. I promise you that. You'd have ran right in that temper too.
I'm just saying that we altered everything that was working. That's all I'm getting at.
I hear you, but that wasn't gonna work. That wasn't gonna work. Y'all out there
you got it. You already, you know.
And they had John Lynch coming in the box too, like a bunch of times. Like he was coming in the box very heavy.
The number one offense versus the number one defense.
It was not gonna slide. Y'all wasn't gonna run
number one offense versus the number one defense. I think we stuck to the script. That Super Bowl would have been a little bit different. We started off picking off Brad Johnson.
It might have been closer.
Johnson.
It might have been closer.
The ball, the boys wouldn't have got no yards.
The result might have been the same, but it would have been closer.
Both Super Bowls that the Bucs were in and won, and we were very dominant on defense both games. I'm like that's kind of our MO to kind of piggyback on y'all point.
You didn't really need.
We stuck to what we know.
That's it.
We know defense.
Y'all didn't really need Tom Brady to be Tom Brady, honestly. Against the Chiefs, the defense handled that all itself. Tom Brady was comfortable the whole time.
Levante David and Pat White and Winfield and Vita Vea and Ndamukong Suh really just gave Patrick Mahomes fits like none other in that game.
Oh yeah.
That was pure dominance right there. That's pure dominance.
It got real disrespectful between Winfield and Tyreek. I love that. I loved every moment of that.
I think I still have that.
Everybody does the peace sign, but the phone call, he did the phone call too. With Tyreek to recreate Shannon Sharp's phone call, yeah, he definitely did. And Devin White got on the phone right after him. Like he passed him the phone. Like it was a whole thing. Now, like I love that. It was just one of those moments. I love that.
I really cannot wait to have the show to where Kay and Miz will go at it when it's Florida State versus Miami. I am waiting for that. Like I am so waiting for that. You have no idea.
So here's the kicker. That's the same week as the Bucs-Niners game. Because the Bucs-Niners game is it's 11-19, and I think Florida State's the week before.
I need to make sure that I'm off that weekend because we can get busy.
Man.
I just want to see Niner Buck talk. I'm interested in that as well. I definitely will tune in for that.
Well,
hopefully for this show, it's really only going to go one way or the other. It's either going to be I'm going to be doing a lot of talking, or Kenny's going to be doing a lot of talking and laughing.
But
either way.
Either way, there's going to be passion involved, and that's what it's all about. Passion.
Right. Yeah.
Kenny might just go the whole 2 hours and stuff like that, just laughing. He might just fall out of it. We might hear nothing but Country K laughter the entire fucking episode.
All right, so just say hypothetically, if that's the case, I mean, I feel like we'll see.
Now he wants to dabble in hypotheticals.
Well, yeah, because you're saying about hypothetically, I could be going either way. I'm saying in those situations, I mean, if I'm mad like I was against the Bucs Chiefs when I was going off with Byron Leftwich, and
he went off. I shit you not. You can go back and look at the episode. He went off for 45 minutes.
Yeah, it was bad.
No, I went back. It was 45 minutes of K just. Byron Leftwich was like this by the end of the fucking.
What number episode is that? Because I really want to go watch that now.
Oh man, I got it.
That was for sure 2020, so it was 100 and it was probably like 100. So I'm gonna verify that. It was like 100.
I was about to say it might be before we started getting on YouTube.
I really want to watch that.
No,
I know for sure it's on. I know for sure it's on Spotify.
No, it's for sure
What?
on video. It's for sure on video. 'Cause
Okay.
I was on my phone looking at the screen. Because I was at my boy house. He was living in Newark. He had a townhouse, a nice ass 3-story townhouse. And I was there. I remember that house. I remember when I had that rant because he was mad as shit. I was in his garage going off. And he was like, I got neighbors. And I was like, my bad. We just lost the game. And I just lost $100. So I'm kind of mad about everything right now. I apologize. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that was
Whoa.
the early hundreds.
That was that episode. I think Mad Six at one point napped for about 10 minutes. He got up and went and got something to eat.
Oh, well, yeah.
Came
because
back.
he
I
was
was
better
sitting here. Yeah, yeah. He took like a big old dab rib and so he was just chill. Hayes going off. I'm sitting laughing. Mad Six is like this in his chair. It was an episode. It was an episode.
You mean to tell me after one loss, Clemson goes from 9th to 25th? Really?
Holy sh! Well, it's
Well,
really
yeah,
lost.
Ranked Duke.
I understand that.
And it's their in their conference at that. It's a
I'm
conference.
sorry. They're lucky. They're lucky. They're 25.
Yeah.
Hey, I think
Yeah, they gave
don't Dion got USC this week?
Say it again?
They got Nebraska. They got
Nebraska.
Nebraska. All right, so here's the lineup. Nebraska.
They're gonna dog walk
Colorado State,
Nebraska.
Nebraska, Colorado State. Like another game. Then they have USC.
I'm more focused on that USC game. That's gonna be
No, they have Oregon. They have Oregon. So it's Colorado
Ooh,
State, Oregon,
okay.
USC.
So he get Oregon for USC. Those two, I'm gonna really that's gonna pique my interest. But I like that they got
Colorado State, Oregon could be either around, but yeah, no, I hear you on that. Oregon, I think that's gonna be their toughest game because I honestly, just looking at both teams, I use it as a barometer. There is no disrespect here, and I love the team, but like to be honest with you, just looking at the talent and looking at the game, Colorado is better than San Jose State. There's no disrespect to San Jose State. That's how I feel, and I love them boys. They just have better
Yeah, I
talent.
know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
I agree.
Right.
I can agree to
But
that.
San Jose State put up 28 points on USC.
Yeah.
They had, like, if you, Josh was talking about the game, they had opportunities. They just made mishaps. They had opportunities to actually put up more points than that, could possibly won that game. Because you were talking about it before. Deion Sanders has very good coaches and, like, just no disrespect, they have better talent there. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
They
I'm
utilize the transfer
looking at-
portal. So I seriously think that they're gonna beat the dog crap out of USC because USC is not it's a fake good team.
Okay.
And they just dog walk Nevada and stuff like that too. It's just like, oh, Caleb Williams. You still, it's like,
But
okay, like hold. I'm thinking that game against USC will decide who the front runner to the Heisman is going to be.
possibly. But the Trojans are playing Stanford, and historically, Stanford has given USC fits in the past.
This is true.
So I'm not going to say that USC is sleeping on Stanford, but I mean, Stanford does have a new coach, and he's trying to establish his program. I think USC should win, but I think Stanford possibly could make it a close game. Now,
I think they should really have concern about Oregon State. Is who they should have concern about.
Yes.
I do not have no disagreement with that statement there.
And I'm going to say a prayer for UC Davis. I mean, I love the Davis Aggies, but I'm going to say a prayer for them because they are going to Corvallis to get a paycheck to play Oregon State. So,
Oh, yeah.
Man. Oh man.
That QB there, he's playing on a mission.
That's a check. That's a check.
Paycheck and the meal is the best thing that was from that trip because the scoreboard is not.
oh, no, not at all. It's okay. How do you feel
Yes.
about your chances upsetting the 23rd ranked Aggies of Texas A&M coming to what is known as the house that Dan Marino built?
So here's the problem. It's Texas A&M, but isn't it still Jimbo there?
And there goes Mizzle doing the Orange Cassidy right about now.
There it is. It's still Jimbo there, right? So we still
Correct.
see Jimbo as Mizzle's coach. So we gonna play them very tough like we
Yeah,
do.
yeah, bro.
I know that, but we gonna play them very tough like we do. And if I'm not mistaken, we beat them last year. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take this W. We're gonna take it. Van Dyke finna go crazy. We're gonna take this W. He might throw a pick. It's a little loosey on the arm, but he might throw a pick. But He's gonna go ahead and take this W.
Well, Missile has his home opener against Southern Miss.
Hey.
See what the heck I'm talking about, bro?
Hey.
I think they should get rid of these paycheck games. This shit.
I agree.
Patent stats and everything. Like, this is terrible.
I totally agree. But like I said last night, at least my team took the tough game first before they there because it's the home opener.
Well, here, hold on. So let me ask you. Let me ask you this off of that. You say they took the tough game first. After what we just saw, does the word tough really relate to the LSU Tigers? I don't feel like that was a game. Like, everybody had all of these expectations for LSU, but LSU got exposed so hard to the point where I'm looking at them going, "Oh no, no." Yeah, this was one of those games that Florida State should have won the way that they did.
Can I take? Oh my God, you finna me compliment these motherfuckers, bro. This is like you complimenting Oklahoma. I'm gonna just go ahead and let you know what's about to fucking happen. This shit business.
You'll never catch me complimenting Oklahoma, ever. Under no circumstances will it ever happen.
Shout out to Jim Ross.
I don't. All right, let me just say. All right, so I'm gonna say this. I don't think LSU got exposed. I don't think LSU just that good. Let's just say it that way. Mizzle probably said it a different way. You get what I'm saying?
If I had a picture with Jim Ross, I would literally.
Like, that's what I'm saying. That's
I
best.
I believe it.
That's the best you can get. And as a Florida State fan, I feel like you can appreciate that. That's the best you can get. You ain't gonna never hear me say anything else.
Hey,
so I'm gonna just say it like that. And as far as the Miami situation, I feel like we had two tough games because Miami of Ohio and University of Miami is like a rivalry game in a sense, like how shout out to A7FL, like how Vegas and Cincinnati was like, no, we're the real Sin City. It's the exact same.
I don't. Well, okay. See,
we understand the whole lifestyle and all of the extras and the money and all that, but as far as just the name, that's what
I've never heard somebody call Cincinnati Sin City up until this point.
Well, neither have I. But I mean, the fact is that Cincinnati called themselves Sin City, which of course it's CIN as opposed to SIN. Obviously, the Insomniacs and the A7FL Nevada division took offense to that. And of course,
leave it to Ohio, right?
Yeah, they went to Ohio and promptly mercied them. And the funny thing is, I was talking to Scott Hamilton Scooter, and he was like, "We're gonna mercy him, just nonchalantly. We're gonna mercy him."
So exactly what Dub said happened in the A7FL is basically what happened in college. We beat them 38-3.
Correct.
So that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, we have a whole little battle going on with that, but we both know who's the real. You know what I'm saying? So
then is it really a rivalry when it's that one-sided?
Well, yeah, but it's still like you get kind of a tough battle. I mean, our quarterback put an interception. They had a field goal, you know. So those are things. Those are
they had a field goal. There's a silver lining in there, I guess.
Yeah. Some people got stats there. You know what I'm saying? So as far as the same thing with the Florida State LSU game, Florida State gave up 24 points. Some people got stats there. I mean, they put up 54, but some people got stats there. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. We shut them out the second half, pretty much.
All right,
like,
JP.
Then Texas won.
You came close last year, lost by a point. How do you go into Tuscaloosa and possibly pull off the second biggest upset of the season, or third biggest upset of the season? How does Bevo stick the horns into the elephants?
That's a great question there, Deb. I appreciate you asking, especially this early in the fucking season when I know I haven't seen damn near fucking enough to even think that there's even a whisper in hell that I mean, the last time we played them well, and that was with our backup quarterback. Nick Saban said himself that he was impressed with the team and that they're headed in the right direction. That being said, again, and I think I said it on your show, I have yet, like, for some reason, the teams that I root for just don't know how to figure out the quarterback position. I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe that's just a me thing. It's one of those, like, you get yourself in a relationship knowing that it's going to suck, but
You do it anyway.
Toxicity is what drives you.
Yeah.
Like, no. For some reason, we have two guys who 5-star plus rated quarterbacks. And one guy we know is probably going to be the mainstay at least next year. But then you have another guy in Ewers, like, with him, like I said before, I have a little bit of a quarrel with him because of his decision coming out of high school. He's playing off Ohio State success and all that other kind of stuff. He had a home there in Texas already, but he just decided to make a move that he thought he was better, and he lost out to Justin Fields. And instead of, and this is kind of my opinion on the transfer portal, I think the transfer portal gives certain players an excuse to not hold themselves accountable.
So do you think the portal's a gift and a curse?
It can be. If they're transferring for the right reasons, then sure. Now, what those right reasons are can be, interpreted by anybody in whatever situation. But the way that I see it, most of the transfers, because players aren't getting, I think I deserve more playing time, so I'm going to go somewhere where they're going to have me. And then most of the transfers, it's not very often, to be completely fair, that the transfers work out where they're going. And now you're seeing the transfer portal just looking like essentially what the NBA is doing with fucking super teams. Teams, like, kids just want to go and play where the best players and stuff like that are, regardless of whether it's good for them when in the education process or in the growth of who they become. Like, if you go start off at a school, and we've talked with guys at San Jose State and stuff, the transfer portal is risky. Because once you hit the transfer portal, you better be 100% fucking certain that you are going to be signing somewhere else. Because once you hit that transfer portal, your scholarship is gone. So if nobody signs you, if nobody signs you, guess what?
You lost
lost time to go hit the JUCO scene.
I did not know that.
Yes.
Wow.
As soon as you hit those papers, get filed in, and you are in the transfer portal, your scholarship that you had you can't go back.
Wow.
You're in the transfer portal.
Wow.
You're done. So that's better almost be like, so when you see these players like with Colorado, they had the talent. Deion Sanders knew he was going to be taking the guys, that he recruited at Jackson State and stuff like that with him. The guys that he got at Jackson State were highly recruited in that level of play anyway. I don't know why people thought Travis Hunter was over. He was the number one player that was being sought after when he was coming out of high school for a reason.
And you saw why on Saturday.
Yeah, of course.
But those wasn't the guys they questioned. They didn't question him. They morally questioned Shedeur. They questioned the linebackers. They questioned the line. They questioned all of the other stuff. Travis Hunter wasn't the guy they questioned. They questioned my boy that went to Lakeland, the other DB. He ended up getting going to Colorado.
Hold on,
Like, you can question any of it.
Read this, and it's like the perfect evolution of beard growth.
That's funny right there. That's funny right there.
And it's funnier because I know what Kay looks like with his beard and everything like that too. So yes, that's pretty fucking good.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I love it. I love it.
But
yeah, so there was more the question in the other players. You know what I'm saying? Not the guys that we kind of knew where they already were on their status and stuff like that because they were touted by the powerhouse schools. You know what I'm saying? So that was more the questions. And can he get to be able to play well? So,
and I think they more than, but that's what I'm saying. Like the transfer portal can be a gift. Like in that situation, because think about what Deion Sanders did for a second. Yes, he left Jackson State and went to Colorado, but he did what a lot of other coaches wouldn't do, even given the situation of a transfer portal. Some coaches, they make these promises and stuff like that to these kids to get them to sign. And once they sign, they're there that first year. And guess what? That head coach is gone.
Yeah.
Now it's a different head coach who didn't recruit you. Now you're in a situation where
you're in a bind.
But what Deion Sanders did was those kids that he made promises to, he took with him. He's like, that's what he told at the meeting. He's like, if you can't deal with it, transfer portal's there.
Leave.
Yeah.
If you can't deal with the process of what we're trying to do here, if you can't, make the workouts, if you can't live up to this standard, hit the portal because I'm bringing Louis.
Yeah, but that's most situations with coaches anyway, though. Like most situations, coaches are getting fired. Like except the top 10, 15 coaches. Like where certain guys are gonna be. Like you know what I'm saying? Like for the most part, Saban ain't going nowhere. Dabo ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Like certain guys, they're not
be smart.
Lifetime job for him.
Yeah, Kirby. Yeah, it's a lot of guys. They're not going anywhere. But it's a lot of guys. Like, all right, you got to prove it. I'm saying you got to kind of prove it right now. So as far as like, you really only got a good handful of guys. So that's kind of a situation for most institutions. You know what I'm saying? Where a lot of guys are kind of like hung up. That's kind of what the transfer portal is because coaches are getting fired and they're giving these players an opportunity. So yeah, but it makes sense on why they pull in the scholarship. They gave up on the school, so why would we continue to hold a promise we have to you and you gave up on us?
But that's what I'm saying. Like it works. That can turn into like the gift. It turns into when it happens for the right reasons and everything's going right, and it's for the betterment. That's where the transfer portal. You're giving the athlete the opportunity to make that decision to better themselves. That's where the gift comes in.
Yes.
The curse is again the what if moments, and then we've talked about it on this show. There's been, at least in my opinion, a whole hell of a lot of smoke being blown up a lot of these kids' ass. Because they've always been the best player at their high school, best player on their team growing up, Pop Warner, whatever. So when they get to the top level and everybody was the all-star on their team and they start missing out, the ego of them being told, no, you're not going to be the starter, they can't fucking deal with it.
Yeah.
They've had... I know we're certain aspects. Accountability needs to be, you need to have that. I understand there are certain situations that cannot be avoided, and you got to like kind of deal with that as it comes. Which is the stuff that it's out of their hands. That's understandable. You can't really blame somebody for something that they had no. That's the cards that they were fucking dealt, and they got to this point with that. But there are other points in times where it is like there's that little. You've been spoiled a little too much. You think you're owed this, but you're not. Like you don't understand that this is not this is a fucking privilege to
Absolutely.
get to this point.
Absolutely.
I don't think that's the point. I feel like you hit it earlier when you said about they blew smoke up their ass. I feel like that's the real point. I don't feel like that's the case with D1 football. Like if it's the NFL or if it's like Alabama or Georgia or fucking Ohio State, then that'll be the case. Yes. But everybody ain't getting that same amount of talent. You see what I'm saying? The NFL is where, you know what I'm saying, where you're the best of the best and everybody was the best of their team and all. I feel like a lot of these kids just believe they better than what they are. That's what it is. That's where you were right, where they blew smoke up their ass. Because a lot of these kids, they hit the transfer portal where they have to go JC and all that. They get smoke blown up their ass and they think they better than what they are. I think that's really what it is. That's what's the down effect of it. I feel like that's the real curse. Because they're getting told one thing, they're getting told they're better than what they are from whatever case may be, whoever case may be, it could be family or whatever, friends, whatever the fact. Or they just personally believe they're better than what they are. But that's the curse of the transfer portal. Where some of these kids think they're better than what they are, and they should stay where they are and develop. And actually, it would actually be better, and then you would have better cases.
Take the competition.
Yeah.
Take that now and go like, all right, let me get better and get why run away from the competition?
Because a lot of them,
you're not going to get better when you do that.
A lot of them have grown up, especially in these small cities, basically being the best player in the whole entire town, and then once they hit a little bit of adversity, they kind of they get a little, you know, they start backpedaling like, whoa, I've been the best all my life. All of a sudden, you think you're better than me, and instead of embracing it, they get a little bit timid, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
Well,
that's definitely where the curse, I think. Everything kind of has a gift and a curse to it. You know, but with the NIL deals, you know, there's a gift and a curse with that. You know, because now schools can essentially, you know,
buy a player.
Whoever's the highest bidder.
Yeah.
Whoever's the highest bidder gets the player. And a lot of these schools don't make the type of money that schools like, you know, Texas, Alabama, you know, all these top tier where they're getting billions of dollars a year on just the football season.
Not just that, all that damn booster money from the boosters.
There it is.
Well, yeah, but a lot of that when that NIL deal came into effect, it made people have to become businessmen. It made ADs have to become businessmen. It made all these people have to become businessmen, and they don't know how to be businessmen. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't understand about how to manage a brand and stuff like that. They only know how to coach. They only know how to be this. They only know how to be that. So when you have to be multifaceted and you have guys that only be one-dimensional, that's kind of where you fall behind. You got a lot of guys that are multifaceted that are booming in these areas. You see what I'm saying?
I think the NIL deals are, I feel, so do I believe that the NCAA obviously has been making a huge amount of profit off the image and likeness of these players and not giving them a goddamn dime? You know, all these years, you know, developing and getting playing in front of these big crowds, big moments, all that other kind of stuff, and not getting anything for it. I do feel like a certain compensation for it, for the players, does need to happen. And the NIL deal was kind of like, yeah, it's good because it gives the players, you know, that right now. All right, if you're going to make money off of me, at least give me a cut. But then when you start, like, you know, the endorsement deals, you know, start coming through, when now you got players that, I mean, I guess it's an incentive to stay in college a little bit longer than before because you're making more money in college than you are at the professional level, especially in the women's divisions.
So let me ask you this.
You know, that
how will that affect the college football game that EA Sports is putting back out next year? How will that affect that?
Well, didn't EA Sports agree to play the players?
Yeah, but I forgot what the other company that came in that was trying to derail it for some reason or
they made it seem like everybody should get the same amount of money, and they had guys at lesser schools getting less money than guys who had better schools getting more money. And that was the problem. When in reality, that should be what's going on, because the reality of somebody actually playing with those lesser teams are like 5 and 500, because those 5 guys are really just picking those teams because they tired of playing with their own school. You see what I'm saying? Like that's where
I kind of see like there should be kind of like I guess almost like a cap on how much they being able to get, because
well, give an example. What do you think the cap should be? Because they was given let's say Alabama they was getting 2,500, San Jose State they was getting 800. What do you think the cap should be? Because that's, like I said, hey, that's what they was getting. When
it comes to like stuff like the college football game with EA Sports bringing back NCAA football, I think with that the overall, because let's be real, when this game comes out, it is going to break all of the sports gaming records.
I miss it.
It's going to supersede. It's going to be bigger than any release date.
Bigger than
that has. GameStops are going to be down the line again.
They'll be sleeping overnight.
Amazon orders, PlayStation Store. People are going to be buying this game at full price, like the premium editions, like the $100 versions of it that are going to probably come out.
Yeah.
The base version is $70 fucking when it comes out. Anything else after that, 80, 90, 100, people are going to spend money on this game. And if they do kind of like what they did before, which they had Ultimate Team like style stuff, people are going to spend more money on you when it comes to that too. I think that every player were that cap, and it just defeats the whole. Well, if I'm better, I should be getting more. It's like no. There's a percentage that everybody who is included in this game, if you are going to be including all of the schools,
that's
and all of the that's participation trophy or whatever, it's still name and likeness. But I'm saying it's not a percentage where it's like, oh, each player is going to be getting $5 million regardless of how good they are. No, I don't think that. It's probably going to get to the point where the very highest they're probably going to get out of it is 1 to 2.
What's the reality when you're going to get most guys picking Appalachian State over Georgia, dude? Let's be real with ourselves, Josh. I hear you. You sound like dissertation trophy talk.
I see games
with Georgia because they want to see how good those boys are. That's what that's the thing. What people are telling you, they're not going to pick Appalachian State. Nobody's gonna pick them, bro. They deserve $500. Don't do this.
Here's the question to you guys: Should there be like a tier? Should there be a tier system?
State, bro. Only the city of Little Rock.
A tier system, yeah.
There should be a scale, yes.
I mean, I believe it should be a cap, but I also agree with Kay. What should that cap be? We will never. Because there's going to be somebody that's always going to believe that their organization or a player is better than what that person should be getting. Damn sure Alabama. Anybody on Alabama already think they're better than everybody else. That's just point blank.
Or the SEC period.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it should be a scale, yes. But I do think these higher tier teams like Alabama and Georgia should be more than
pay them based on their
and Navy, bro.
You gotta pay. Their tier system is you got to pay them based on their team overall rating. So if you're in the 90s and above, you get a certain amount. If you're in the 80s, you get a certain amount. 70s,
Right,
60s,
right.
so
And
on
so
and
on
so
and so
forth.
forth. We got it.
That
But
makes
all I'm
sense.
saying
Okay,
is
that
that's
does
pretty
make
much
sense.
my point. That's pretty much my point. Like certain guys, like you can't sit here and continue to like that's what's stalling the game. Participation trophy talk. That's what's stalling the game. Everybody should get the same amount. No, they shouldn't, because a lot of these guys aren't going to see the TV screen in some homes. In most homes, Georgia's going to see the TV screen. Alabama's going to see the TV screen. You know what I'm saying? In most homes, the top tier teams, the top 25, damn sure Colorado, they're every screen. You see what I'm saying? So some of these schools, yes, they deserve more money than others. But I'm saying as far as the team, not the individual player, the team deserves the same amount of money, all of the players on that team, because that team is featured. I'm not saying like Josh Shador should get more than the O lineman because
so then here.
No.
So then going off that, it would be so like, and correct me if I'm wrong in this interpretation. You pay, like EA pays the school a certain dollar amount, and that dollar amount gets basically,
No, what I'm saying
divided
yes, evenly. Everybody gets the same amount from the school. That's all I'm saying. The whole football team gets the same amount. If it's $600, everybody gets $600. That's all I'm saying.
I agree.
Everybody at that top tier school should get the same amount. Now, individualize. Go ahead.
You know how that's going to go, though. That can only go for so much, because that's where that one player is going to be like, I'm sick of this 600 because I am better than him.
Right.
I love that system, and I believe it will work. But there's going to be somebody that's going to protest. I should get paid more because he's nowhere near my level. I got recruited.
It's gonna start getting structured in the NIL deals and stuff like that coming into college.
Two things for sure, though. Two things for sure. It's gonna happen. Yes, you're right, but it's not gonna happen in Alabama or Colorado.
No.
So the coach matters. The coach matters. The coaching. The coaching system matters. If you got a bunch of soft ass coaches that can't fucking get to their players and they let their players run the show, then that's what the fuck you're gonna get. You're gonna get a whole bunch of motherfuckers tripping out. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
So if you get stern coaches that's not like assholes and they're like related to the kids and they, you know what I'm saying? It's a camaraderie, it's a family. Then you'll get a lot of players that's just happy to be there, and then they NIL deals from other places will be higher, and the video game money ain't even the issue. You see what I'm saying?
Agree. I totally agree.
But I do know with the amount of money that they're gonna make, I don't want to hear any excuses coming from EA going, "Oh, well, we're not going to be able to afford, pay." Fuck you.
Somebody's gonna drop the ball.
You're gonna. It's like your CEOs and everything else like that are going to be able to buy 3, 4, 5, 6 yachts with the amount of money that they're about to get from this fucking game.
Oh yes.
You can divide that. You'll find a way. Give me that bullshit. We can't get it done. Like that type of shit's crap to me.
Yeah, it should, but somebody's gonna get money hungry, man.
There's always gonna be.
It's too much money out there. It's too much money gonna be made. And somebody's gonna be money hungry, and somebody's gonna.
There's always one.
So then, with knowing that, should they have kept it the way it was? Knowing the problems that it could cause, should they have left it the way it was?
The risk is better than not doing it. The players deserve it because they was getting this video game was selling millions way before they got with this deal. And so now that it's going to make more, I believe though the players should get paid for it
because
on the line.
Because with that said, that would have taken away everything former UCLA star Ed O'Bannon fought for. Ed O'Bannon played a huge reason in why this was happening. And I think if that was to happen, if you were to stop it, it would go against everything that Ed O'Bannon fought for to get not just for him, but for other college athletes with the whole likeness situation.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the reason why I think a lot of these coaches are like crying and making the thing sound like it's a problem. Because you got all of these good schools, they still good. Why are they not falling out schemes and all that stuff? Saban gets a good team every year. So does Kirby.
Before the NILs and everything like that, a lot of these coaches became very good at giving empty promises.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
There was a there still is a very small handful of coaches that are going to be at that school. Like, they can do no wrong type of situation. They'll be there forever. They're a mainstay. They're the face of that, school and everything like that. Everything else out of that, it's a carousel.
Which is why
head coaches are not normally at schools longer than 3, 4, 5 years, especially if they have success.
Which is why I still think to this day, The Program and Blue Chips are two of the greatest college sports movies ever made, because they kind of gave you a realization of what really goes on. And I think those two movies have stood the test of time, talking about what actually goes on inside a college sports setting.
I think they might have gave a little too much, though.
But it
helped me get to hear.
But it helped me to hear.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Say that again, Kay?
No, I just said it helped get to hear. Both of those movies helped get to hear.
Agree. It shows what these players put on the line, and what these colleges get in, and
the boosters, the crooked boosters.
Let's just say there's one player that plays there. He just wants to play for his university. He does not want to go to any next level. He has a great degree or whatever, stuff like that, but he breaks his freaking body. What does he have to show for it?
Nothing. So
because there's also that, the percentage of, if you get to D1, for a good percentage of the players that are playing at the D1 level, that's the last time you're ever going to play. That 4 years, that's the last time you're ever going to play football at the highest level. Because a very, very small percentage of people actually make it to the NFL. Yeah, they have the XFL, they have the USFL and everything else, but it's not
A7.
It's A7, but it's not that, the millions and pedestal of winning a Super Bowl and all. It's not that same, type of feel.
Yeah.
But for a lot of guys at that point, especially because by the time you get into college and you end your college career, most people are about 21, 22 years old. Granted, they get maybe a redshirt freshman year or something like that. Sometimes you have these fucking anomalies of I'm, 50 years old and I'm a ninth year senior.
Chris Winky.
What's dude who played at Oklahoma State, Brandon Whedon, 31 years old is a senior.
Yeah. Brandon Whedon started he wasn't an 8-year senior. He just started college.
Stop.
Like, that type of stuff is just ridiculous, man. But I mean, now we're getting into that point where it's.
But life isn't that miserable like how it was before. Like, you can't keep, like, that talk that like how this is the like, nah, it's not the same no more because of those other avenues. Because people still take that shit serious. They still buy in to that shit. A lot of people do. You know what I mean? Like, they still take it serious. They still do their workouts. They still do their whole regimen. So I won't say that. Like, it's not the same field. You can't tell nobody that was on the A7FL field that championship didn't matter. You can't tell nobody that.
That's true. That's true.
You see what I'm saying? So
that's true. That's true.
Make it seem like that. Yeah. Those guys take that shit serious, bro. And as a motherfucker that played 9 years of semi-pro ball and going into my 10th year, I take that shit serious too. You see what I'm saying? That picture's from last season. You see what I'm saying? Like
there is that competitive nature, that competitive fire to still play the game, and and again, it gets into that point where it's not even about the level of play. It's about just playing because you love to play
Well,
the game.
Well,
That's where
yes.
it gets
Now,
into,
well, now I ain't gonna say that
field.
because a lot of guys like myself, semi-pro got me a CFL tryout. So I'm not gonna make it seem like I didn't try to make it pro. I definitely did. I had a CFL tryout, and then before the second one, I tore my ACL, bro. So I wholeheartedly was trying to go pro. You see what I'm saying? So it's not. I'm not gonna make it seem like that. And I had a couple guys that I was training to go pro with. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna make it seem like that's not the case because it is. It's still a lot of guys that want to go pro and they use semi-pro as film. They're trying to move up a level.
Definitely would love to see the CFL for sure. I would love to see that.
Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah. So, but no, I mean, I still got like my boy Dominique Davis. He's still playing right now. Like he's still up there. You know what I mean? I mean, Chris isn't playing anymore, but Dominique's still playing up there. So that's it's still like it ain't the NFL, but a lot of guys get they still buy in. You know what I'm saying? Their heart won't be completely broken, but they still can have faith that they can possibly make it to the NFL. So the passion doesn't leave. You know what I'm saying? But if they get removed from that game a long period of time, then the passion might die.
So even with the addition of the other avenues of professional level, the CFL, USFL, XFL, A7, trying to get into that quote professional paying the players type of, situation and stuff like that. Yes, there are those other avenues. But even with those other avenues, the amount of players that play in college football at all levels, D1 all the way down to NAIA, all the way down to JUCO level. It's the percentage of players that actually get to those levels, to the percentage, let alone the NFL. So you add the NFL and everything together, it's still a super, super low percentage.
Yeah.
So again, for a lot of
people at JC, a lot of them don't have the knowledge where to go next because the coaches don't know where to go next. So I mean, some of these situations, like you can't add them into the average. I get it; it's still a college, but a lot of these situations, kids don't have knowledge. For the kids that have the knowledge, like D1, I say D1, D2, and like probably like maybe the top tier NIAs, right? So D1 AA, D2, and all that
FCS,
kind of like that gap right there. Like D3s and all that, I won't even count them in. Sometimes maybe HBCUs now because of the light they're getting. But a lot of those guys don't even get the opportunity because they don't have the knowledge that those guys even there, or those guys don't have the knowledge to where to go to get in those places to even be found. You know what I'm saying? No. Or have people to have the knowledge to be able to get a light to go look at them. So I can't put them in those categories like they don't have the opportunity because they don't. But it's like it's not really fair in certain cases to put them in that percentage. You get what I'm saying? Like I won't necessarily like that kind of sound like participation trophy talk too, but it's like you're right. You're right. I'm not saying wrong. You know what I mean? Like you're right, but it's just like it's not fair to add in JC guys when they don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is one of those situations where, and honestly, to end up in a JUCO, there's a variety of situations and reasons that you could end up in a JUCO situation. My situation was very different from Kay's. My situation and Kay's situation were, different than a lot of the guys that we played with. Different backgrounds, different reasons, different things that kind of, but everyone, it's that loss of getting somewhere to get back to, because you had D1 bounce backs, stuff who played at the JUCO level, played with us and stuff that we played with. Cam Newton, one of those guys. So everyone comes back to this level because, but I think the transfer portal and the way it's kind of structured right now in the NCAA has, in my opinion, and I could be completely wrong about this, but this is just my own observation of how things have kind of gone. With the transfer portal going the way it has, the JUCO level has kind of suffered a little bit when it comes to because it wasn't really like that before. You kind of that was the only avenue that you really could have taken in order to transfer to a different D1 school. The way it was, like you had to, if that was the route that you were going to take, unless you were going to basically write it out or however you wanted to do. But if you wanted to go that route of going to another D1 school, you basically had to go to the JUCO level, kind of go into the minor leagues, and then to get back, scouted up to D1. But now those players, that transfer portal, they can basically go wherever now. They don't have to go down to the JUCO level anymore. So it's one of those things where I think like the JUCO level has kind of suffered a little bit because of it. Not greatly. They're still getting a good amount of talent. There's still a lot of really good players that are at the JUCO level that just either kind of like that late bloomer situation. They have that a whole lot of potential in high school. They just need like 1 or 2 more years to really tweak their game before they're really ready for the next level.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how an extension of a high school play type of thing. To get more film and to get better, to master your craft before you get to the next level. That's how I kind of figured JUCO was to begin with, but it's become more so that now.
No, I feel like you was right the first time. Like you were right on what JUCO was. Like it was really that band-aid between, you know what I mean, what the transfer portal is now. You were definitely right on that for sure. Yeah. I think now, like if you got top tier talent at JC, it's because of that main reason why people are in JC. Bad test scores. Bad test scores and bad grades. I feel like that's most of the case of why people in JC nowadays. Like, you know what I'm saying? If they're top tier talent, that's probably the reason why. Bad test scores and bad grades. You know what I'm saying? And late bloomers, for sure, that situation is most of the case. You know what I'm saying? Like nowadays. That's why I think JC suffered greatly. I agree with you, but I feel like your barometer is just a little off. You know what I mean? I feel like you're right, but just a little off. Because I feel like it suffered greatly because their talent, that top tier talent, don't have to drop down to them no more. And that's where a lot of people, like Cam Newton, like Dub said, Cam Newton played Dominique Davis JC National Championship. Okay. I talked to Dominique after that. Dominique told me about Cam Newton. I didn't know about Cam Newton. Well, obviously I knew because he went to Florida or whatever, but I didn't know about Cam Newton like that. You know what I'm saying? I knew more about Tebow and like, you know what I mean, Chris Leak and all that crap. You know what I mean? I didn't know about Cam like that. You know what I'm saying? So I only, you know what I mean, when he told me about Cam, he was like, yeah, we got beat like 60-something to whatever it was. So yeah, they beat the dog crap out of them in that national championship. So yeah, like that's what JC was, and I feel like that's the reason why they suffer greatly because they won't get that top tier talent like Cam or Dominique Davis, who still holds the NCAA record for completions at Carolina. So yeah,
it's become the way everything is kind of situated now, and it really is now at a point where they're essentially pro, now at the collegiate level.
Yeah.
They're getting paid, while they're paying and stuff. I mean, the NIL deals have gotten so crazy that kids who haven't even gotten into high school yet are benefiting from this.
Correct.
So it's now that, and this is where I kind of wonder, and this is going to be a little bit more difficult now, especially for scouts. And I know, shout out to Mr. Ojeda.
Yes, sir.
What he looks for is what I think a lot of scouts are going to have to look for now. Instead of just the intangibles and obviously, physically what they look, like in his words, they know that they're good. But they want to see how they react when shit goes wrong.
Yes. How do you handle adversity?
If they start blaming everybody else for everything that's going wrong, you don't really want that type. Even if whether it's his fault or not,
Correct.
You don't really want that type of guy on your team. So and you see it on social media. When you have a lot of money, your sense of give a fuck and care kind of goes out the window.
Facts.
Everyone wants to flex. Everyone wants to show how much they got. Everyone wants to boast followers. Everyone wants to do all of that shit. Like
For the likes, they want the
whether
likes.
it makes sense or beneficial or not, that's the level that people measure themselves to. So now you go into that level where kids that young are getting these types of. Look what's happening with Baby Gronk. Look at that whole situation right there. Everyone thought LeVar Ball was bad. Holy fuck! You haven't met nobody yet. Like this guy is almost like if LeVar Ball and the head coach from BS High was melded into a person. Like that is
they had a baby.
That is who it's fucking wild. So it builds that sense of ego and entitlement. So when they get to that point where maybe they're not as good as, like face it, not as good as they think they are.
Yeah.
They get met with, they get finally met with Johnny Badass, and oh shit! Now you get, Mike Tyson said, everybody has a plan. Do you get fucking punched in the mouth?
That is the greatest quote ever right there. One of the greatest quotes ever said.
What do? It's fight or flight at that. Do you compete and get better and take that as a, the iron sharpening iron situation? Or you can take it personal and just fuck your whole opportunity away.
Well,
take your ball and go home.
That. Especially like we just said earlier, when they're accustomed to winning, and they jump on the losing, they go somewhere and they become losers. They don't know, and you can put that on the coach. If the coach is not coaching them well enough to know, hey, yes, we're not performing well, but if we keep working, but all they know is winning and being told yes.
Can we I need to talk to the coaches at the Pop Warner level real quick. Y'all need to stop acting like you're up here in a head coach, like you're trying to build this whole this history of winning type of hair. Look, some of these coaches that I've seen at the 13 and up, that gets pretty, some of these motherfuckers have egos like you wouldn't believe. But then you get to the level.
It was that way in Babe Ruth too for baseball.
Then you get to the level of the 6 to 8 category.
The Mighty Mites.
They're fun to watch.
Oh, I know this is going.
They must think that if I turn these 7-year-olds into champions, I'm fucking coaching in D1 next year. Because it's not, look, it ain't that serious, and you're there to develop the kids.
At that
That's
level,
what you're there to do.
You're supposed to teach them how to get to the next level to play.
Let me tell you something.
But you're educating them to when they get to high school, and if they want to play it the year after that, it's supposed to be fun. I had a great time,
and a lot of those coaches, instead of taking losses as like a learning point, especially at that age, that's when you want to teach them that, hey, it's okay to take a loss here and there. You learn from it, you get better. That's how you get better.
Yeah,
that's what a good coach does.
Yep.
But at this age, you got these coaches that are ripping into them like they're fucking high schoolers. You guys didn't do this. You guys didn't do shit. Like cussing at them and all that. Like, whoa, hold on. I understand where you need to have a sternness as a coach. I grew up in Texas. I've seen it. How they, especially with the, I understand where the mindset of how you want them to develop and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But in that situation, especially in a losing situation, you got already these kids are like devastated. They put like most people do. You put in a hard week's worth of practice, and you get to the game and you don't win. Kids at that age get I can see more kids crying after a lot. And but last few times that I've coached these kids, even at 13 years old, you see all these kids like they're crying after a loss because it was a close game or whatever. Hey, good. Soak it in.
Wrong.
It's okay to have that let it out. Let it all out now.
And
so that later you can
feel it again. You don't want that feeling again.
It's okay to, and that's what these parents and these coaches fail to understand at that level. And that's why I think, like, especially when you talk about the bad things of the NIL, of where it can get really dirty, that's the level it really can get, like, to the detriment of the kid. It's not going to be good for them when they get to that next level, because these coaches are going to take it to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
These parents, you thought parents at baseball games and stuff like that were bad now. Holy fuck.
Oh boy.
Oh my God. Get ready for YouTube and Twitter and X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, all that. Get ready for all the feeds for the parent brawls and everything. Get ready for your timelines to be flooded with that shit, because that's exactly what's happening.
Versus coaches fighting on the field coming to social media near you.
Umpires getting jumped by an entire stadium. Like just you're gonna see some wild. I mean, as if we haven't already seen some wild and crazy shit, come out of some of these parents' mouths and everything else like that. Because again, there's a certain level of seriousness that you can take it to, with each level. I had to learn that myself, because my brother had to tell me, especially at the younger level, hey, that'll work with a high schooler. That's not going to work with a fucking 12-year-old. Like there's a different level that you need to take, a different type of approach that you need to take. Because at 12, 13, all of us at 12, 13 years old didn't know what the fuck was going on with us. We're going through, like, so much shit was happening to us at that fucking time. And I loved a Christopher Titus joke. He said, at 12, 13 years old, we literally had the ability to take our brains out of our head, set it on the table, and just walk away for months at a time. And just no brain idiots just walking around at 12, 13 years old. Like, you need to approach this differently. All right, got to adjust. That's what I'm saying. There's levels of seriousness and coaching that you need to take it. So when you're talking like 6 and younger, like, bro, is this all you? That makes me have those questions. Like, is this all you have? Like, is outside of personal life, work with, is this the one thing that you find so passionate about that you are literally willing to die for? What, like, is there nothing else that you can look forward to, that you have to take 8-year-old Pee-wee football on the serious level of actually winning the Super Bowl or a national title?
It's not that serious.
Or a state champion, or a state championship.
It's really not that serious.
It's not that serious. Just teach these young kids how to play the game.
Like, and just to be clear, I do not agree with participation trophies. I thought that shit was so foreign when I moved here to California. I had no idea what the hell a participation trophy was. Right. When I was living in Texas, T-ball, we recorded outs, we had scores, there was first, second, and third. Anybody outside of that, you got pizza and you shut the fuck up. That was it. You were done. When I moved here to California, I think the team that I was with, like my first year, we got like 4th or 5th place. Oh, we got to show up to the award ceremony.
For
what are you talking about? Why? Why we're getting trophies for what? I remember my mom seeing she's like, what the hell is a participation trophy? It said like for participating in the whatever year season. She's like, oh hell no. she, she threw
Trust
that
me,
shit away.
I have plenty of baseball trophies for the team I played for at North Vallejo League. So
I think you muted.
but you want to know something that's near. You want to know something that's near and dear to my heart is this championship patch right here from high school when I won the JV championship playing for Fairfield, playing high school baseball. That patch means more to me than those baseball trophies because it was only 1 year that we actually won, but all the other times we weren't so good. But this
Was
right
that
here,
Millward? Is that Millward?
It just
Miller was my
better,
head coach.
though.
That's
Yes,
from
he was.
Millward?
Yes, yes,
Right?
he was my
Like,
coach.
I've never kept those trophies because I can't look at those trophies and be like, oh, okay, we had a successful year that year. It was either a first place. I rarely kept second place trophies. I have a couple of second place trophies because that year, particularly how it turned out, was a little, was special some way, shape, or form.
But this right here, I cherish this. I cherish this right here.
Well, I got when I played in basketball tournaments, I got 2 championship trophies, and they at my parents' house. That's exactly what they say.
Kay went to high school at a national championship team in high school.
Yeah, but I was a knucklehead, so that's how I ended up out here in California.
Well, I mean, nonetheless, I'm saying like the area you're with.
If I wasn't a knucklehead, I would have been in Swamp Kings. That was my fucking ceiling. You just gotta understand what the fuck going on. Like if I wasn't a knucklehead, I was in Swamp Kings. If I was a knucklehead, I'm on the show with you guys. So
well, me and Mizzle can honestly say we had the privilege of going to high school with 2 guys that actually got to play in the NFL and had D1 scholarships. Played in the NFL, like I said. Desmond went to Cal Berkeley, won a Super Bowl with the Packers. He was part of the Super Bowl 45 team. Quinton Ganther, who was drafted by the Titans, actually played with Alex Smith in Utah. They were on the first.
Didn't he play with Lindale White? Didn't he play with Lindale White with the Titans?
They were teammates. They were teammates. He finished his career with the Bills, but he's now coaching at I think he's actually coaching at Utah with Cal Winningham.
Running back coach, correct? Running back should be running back coach.
Running back coach, yeah. So I mean, we saw greatness at our alma mater, straight up.
No, I feel that, but I mean, like Josh was basically just trying to reference my alma mater, though. Like, I'm just saying, like,
yeah, he has.
We went 6-4 my freshman year. We didn't lose a game again.
Damn,
that's domination.
Yeah,
so
they had Chris Rainey, the County Twins.
That's like Bishop Gorman and De La Salle type of stuff.
Well,
didn't they beat De La Salle
in 2000? All right, so yeah, that's kind of what I was getting to. In 2009, we came out and played De La Salle and beat them overtime. We played Xavier. Well, I didn't play. I'm just saying we because it's my high school, it's my alma mater. But we played Xavier as well. Played Xavier as well. Beat them. Beat all the top tier teams. Them boys are national champions. They beat Major Wright in high school 3 times.
No shit, Major Wright.
Yeah, they put in the national championship. Major Wright went to St. Thomas.
Damn.
Yeah, they played him 3 years straight. They didn't go to
correct?
Say that one more time.
Didn't Major Wright go to Texas?
No, he went to the University of Florida.
That was Major Applewhite. Major Applewhite.
The Major's wrong.
I'm glad you brought that up because any chance that I can rip on the Sims family, I'd love to do it. That is exactly why Major Applewhite. God bless you, fucking Texas Longhorn for life. I love you to death. Because Major Applewhite is exactly the reason why Chris Sims is so fucking salty with the University of Texas. Because he got beat out by a fucking true freshman. Yep. He got salty. And then Phil Sims decided to get into Papa mode like he was worth the shit in fucking New York with the Giants, having Lawrence Taylor to bail him out in the goddamn Super Bowl. Yeah, you were one of those like Bradshaw, Trent Dilfer type of quarterbacks back in that era, bro. You weren't that good. Relax. And if you listen to his announcing, Phil Simms is one of the worst announcers of all time. It's not even close. Nobody can argue with me. The dude was dumb as shit. I thought it was the worst Madden of all time when he was on it. I was just, and Chris Sims has never had a smart, logical thought on camera since he became a fucking announcer.
This is
So
what I think.
This
is what I think about when I think about Chris Sims. Him damn near getting backdropped against Oklahoma in the Cotton Bowl. That's what I think about when I think about Chris Sims.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I have no good things to say about Chris Sims.
He got
or the Sims family. No. You want to turn your back on the burnt orange bitch? You're gonna get the horns. All right.
But look,
hell the fuck no.
In his father's defense, he edged out his son a 10-year career.
Give a shit.
His son didn't educate himself because he didn't have enough talent to do anything. But his daddy definitely worked those deals to get him.
It can't take away him going 22 for 25 in Super Bowl 21. He had his day.
Ooh.
Phil Simms. Yeah, Phil Simms still has the greatest completion percentage in Super Bowl history, going 22 for 25 and went a perfect 10 for 10 on the second half. Now, again,
is that against the Bills? That was the Bills, correct?
No, that was against the John Elways.
Yeah.
Oh, before John Elway and got good. Before the clutch gene started kicking in.
Well, the clutch gene happened against the Browns in the drive, but it did not happen in the first half because Rich Carlos couldn't make a chip shot field goal. Actually missed 2 of them. But even if he did, the Broncos still would have lost 39-26 because the Giants just came alive in the second half, mainly because of what you said of one Lawrence Taylor, who just could not be stopped because that was a grown-ass man.
Yeah, I look at the overall roster of that team, and like I said, you can give me all the stats, completion percentage. With what he had, you fucking better have. You better have done that shit. And with the amount of opportunities and stuff like that they had that game, So again, no credit will be given to that family whatsoever.
No. Here's you gotta give Phil credit. You gotta give Phil credit for the simple fact I had Jameis motherfucking Winston, dog. You gotta give Phil credit.
No, I'll just say screw you, Jim Burt, for almost killing Joe Montana in that playoff game. Screw you, Jim Burt. Damn you, Leonard Marshall, for knocking out Montana for 2 years. Cost us a 3-peat. Damn you, Leonard Marshall.
Well, how you feel about Aeneas Williams?
I'm not gonna lie, I like Aeneas Williams. I did when he was a Ram.
No. Fuck you, Lawrence Phillips, for not doing your job and protecting Steve Young.
Yeah, because Aeneas Williams
made a football play. Lawrence Phillips missed his doggone block.
Yep.
Steve Young wasn't the same as that hit.
No.
So we did our picks for this Thursday, on y'all's show and stuff like that. So that was kind of like one of those things. If we go back to it, we're just barfing out like the same thing. If you guys want to hear what the picks and stuff are, go check out the Dub and Mizzle show that's out now. To be able to see the entire, was it 6
5 hours?
5 hours and 51 minutes of content. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that was one hell of a show. It did not feel like that we were touching 6 hours. It just felt like we were a bunch of guys just shooting the shit, talking sports, and the show was tremendous. It was good banter. There was some that Corey guy, man. He is
Corey Hammond. Corey Hammond.
I would say he's but I like it.
Corey is very much what you see is what I love him to death. I honestly do, because he is very genuine human being.
Yes.
When he has his because he is a quarterback. He has been playing,
Oh,
damn near
Devo.
6 hours of. Yep, exactly. Fucking
Devo
Corey,
is one of
yeah,
our,
no,
Devo,
for real.
Devo is
I
one of
got
our
it.
biggest
Just keep
supporters,
going
one
your
of our
points.
biggest
I'm
We-
fans.
off too.
That's what I'm saying. Corey can go because like he's
I
the
love it.
man can go. I
love
told you guys he could, and I didn't know it was going to take 6 hours worth. But hey,
Especially
Yeah.
when you know your shit. If you get on here and you can talk your shit and basically back it up, I mean, I'll go toe to toe with you all day. I love it, and so
It will become Skip and Shannon. No pun intended. It will be.
well. Within the 6 hours, you're gonna see me and Corey go at it. But I think me and him took over the show for a little bit, which
Yeah.
I love the passion that he was giving to me, and
No,
I just,
but
yeah.
but the passion between Kay and Josh when each other was trying to speak over each other to get their point across, that for me made last night's show. That did it for me. Because just the look on Kay's face, like, I got something to say. Dub, please let me say it. Dub, let me go, please.
You're not gonna- Yeah, it was again. If you want to go see the picks and everything, by all means, go back, check out the show. Again, there was a lot. There was a lot to be
A lot of content.
broken down and kind of to take it for what it is because everyone had their own views, their own opinions, their own. Yeah, it was definitely a well-rounded show that everyone was kind of like,
No, as we said,
it didn't feel hostile whatsoever.
No.
At least
no.
to the outside world, it may have looked like it, but in reality, there was no hostility. There was, everyone was in the right frame of mind. Nobody was going personal. Nobody was getting any. It was pure fans backing their teams, talking shit about teams they don't like. Good points either, but it was all good stuff. So go check that out.
That was a good round.
Go check that out. So for this one, I just wanted to get a real quick Super Bowl pick and a dark horse pick for this year.
Super Bowl dark horse pick?
No, a Super Bowl pick.
Okay.
And who would be the dark horse? And we'll kind of do this when refs looks again. But again, Super Bowl, dark horse. Try not to be a homer. Dev, we'll start with you.
I will do a non-homer pick because I said my picks on last night's Mills and Dub show. But okay, if I wanted to see an intriguing Super Bowl matchup, just because of face value purposes, hell, just for storyline purposes, Jets and Cowboys. That might be the highest rated Super Bowl ever. Again, you asked me to give you a surprise. That would be a surprise. But actually, truthfully,
I wish Mad Sticks would have you would have turned the background mute and you would have heard like a very we'll just say excited yell.
Sure. No,
if
but
that happened.
No. The main matchup I really want to see, Eagles Bengals. I would love to see a Joe Burrow versus Jalen Hurts Super Bowl.
Oof.
I would love to see that, but I would say that I would give the edge to Burrow just because I think Burrow is on the cusp of being that quarterback. Because I mean, he like I said last night, he has shown that he can go into Arrowhead. He's already beaten Mahomes in Arrowhead. He's not scared of Mahomes. He's not scared of the moment, and that's why I think That's why I think Burrow is possibly coming up on that tier towards Mahomes, which is why I think the Bengals really have a good shot to be that one team that could possibly. Well, I mean, they've already proven it because they've done it before, but I think they are that team that, like, okay, we don't care that we're going into Kansas City. We've already proven that we can compete with them. We have beaten them a lot. So They have confidence. They Joe Burrow really is the epitome of I give no fucks. He really is.
You gonna make me
pull
it back out. Dub about to make me pull out the old school background now. I'm in the old school category now. Called out Joey B the God, cause that's how I'm feeling it. Joey B, I'm telling you, look, I gotta go to the old background now. I'm really searching for the old one. The real old one where he had the fur when they was in University of Cincinnati for the OTAs. That was fire. I can't find the fur.
He'll get it up there while he's looking for it.
That'll be an absolute.
My dark horse. My dark horse sleeper, the Cleveland Browns, just because I love Zadarius Smith teaming up with Myles Garrett, and I really think one person that's not being talked about, I think Elijah Moore will complement David Njoku and Amari Cooper real well. How he was not utilized in East Rutherford, I think he'll be utilized by Kevin Stefanski in Cleveland. So the Browns are my dark horse. So,
God, I hope not. Mizzo, who do you got? I hope neither one of those situations happen.
Okay, so the actual Super Bowl that I think Dub did pick and I hate to say this, but I think that the fucker might get his shit together and coach you guys and get you there. I believe the Bengals and Niners would be I believe that Super Bowl could happen.
I put it up for your Raider Nation. I put it up for your Raider Nation. Like, pardon the fuck, sir? You are a Raider fan.
I know, but this is my realist pick though. I believe that if Brock Purdy didn't go down, I believe the Niners would have beat the Eagles. Just for the simple fact of the matter. That would be my sleeper pick. It will be the Bills and Eagles in the Super Bowl. I would love to see Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts go at it. That would be nice. That's my favorite one because when the Raiders lose, I'm in a Raider chat. When they lose, they post that picture.
So with the Niners Bengals pick, here's why I don't want to see that matchup. Because I know what's gonna happen once that matchup happens, the storyline that they're gonna give. They're gonna revert back to the old times back in the 80s.
Yep.
They're gonna bring back that matchup. Yeah. And then it's going to get to the point where the NFL script is going to take place and Joe Burrow is going to essentially avenge those losses by beating the 49ers in the Super Bowl. And I will once again have to sit and look at a TV screen and try with my entire being not to throw my beer mug through the fucking screen and not just like elbow and take like straight mosh pit anybody around me. All right. Just not happy. Not happy. So that's why I don't want that matchup to happen. But yeah. That's why I would. But anybody else but the Bengals, honestly.
But my real homer Super Bowl pick is the Chris Berman Super Bowl Bills and Niners because Chris Berman for like forever kept predicting it and it never happened. But that's my real homer Super Bowl pick.
If we're doing the homer Super Bowl, then of course it'll be my Raider Nation, and I still believe maybe the Eagles.
There's a lot of belief in the Eagles there.
I just believe that they're gonna learn from what their mistake was last year and get right back to where they left off. And I know it's hard to repeat, but who in the East?
Well, I mean,
so I know what
getting
Buccaneers, but who in the East?
Getting through the division is not the question.
Mr. Williams. Hello, Mr. Williams.
Just getting through the division is not the question. The question is getting through, the playoffs. That's where the real. And with the Eagles,
Y'all sleep.
they are a good team, yes, but they also lost a lot of players through free agency this offseason.
Thank you for Philadelphia, Mr. Hargraves. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I was going to say I'll take that gift. Now, so I can't. I was going to say we need to fucking pay his ass.
If it happens,
$2 million.
Over $2.5 million though. If they let Bosa go for $2.5 million, I will.
It will just prove.
You will get that.
It will just prove
sales.
It will just prove what I've been saying forever, that Jed York, you are a dumbass.
I would call for the firing. I understand what Corey's talking about, like, oh, he's taking us to the NFC Championship, like the results and everything. I understand what he's talking about. But if you do that, it was already bad enough that you gave up what you gave up for Trey Lance, who you ended up giving away for a bag of balls and a fucking sandwich. Okay?
Nothing.
So,
or as Chris Vera said, a pack of cigarettes.
You're going to give up the defensive player of the year for over $2.5 million.
2.5.
You're done. 2.5. You're done. York, you need to sell the team. Lynch, I'm sorry. It's been a nice run. Don, we need to find somebody else. Kyle, out. I'm out. We're done. We're not doing this shit anymore.
JP, you and I should go and make a bid for ownership of the team and move them back to San Francisco.
I'll level the apartments that are there at Candlestick. Now I don't give a fuck. We'll move you guys.
I'll help
We'll move you guys. We'll move you guys to where the fucking old stadium of
Francisco wants you guys. Let's be honest.
How many curses do y'all want? How many curses do y'all want, 49ers? Because y'all ain't gonna win no time soon. I feel like you discovered your real curse.
I was gonna say we're just adding the curses. That's gonna be the Nick Bosa curse added on top of fucking everything else.
Well, I honestly feel like y'all discovered y'all real curse and didn't realize it. Y'all real curse for the 49ers is Jerry Rice curse. Everything else is pretty much like just water under the bridge. Jerry Rice. That's y'all real curse.
Right.
Nah, it's
the Jerry Rice curse is the curse. Everybody else,
it's still Eddie Bardlow.
Eddie D was the start of it, where it came to full fruition. Was not making sure that Jerry Rice for the rest of his career was a 49er.
Hey, Dub, I'm gonna have to go with the way y'all treated Jerry Rice, man.
Hold on.
This man ended his career as a fucking
coming from a Raider fan, because y'all do everybody dirty in doggone Raider Nation.
Wait. Hold on. We're on this show. We're not even talking about. We're being real on the show. Now, it's fuck the Niners all day, every day. But if we're talking sports-wise, I'm just saying, they treated fucking Jerry Rice wrong. Regardless of if I'm a Raider fan or not, I'm looking at a sport aspect. You don't treat a fucking Hall of Famer like that. You do not. That man put his heart and soul for that organization. And
that's a lifetime contract.
For them to throw Terrell Owens 20 receptions in his final game, and they announced that he was leaving, that's fucked up. I don't care, a fan or not, they disrespected Jerry Rice. Raider fan or not. Like I said, fuck the Niners all day, but that man is Jesus in cleats. Hey, Hasbullah all you want, bro. You can be in your feelings. I see that you don't give a fuck about anything. If it's a rival, it's a rival. That's the way you go. But I'm a real I'm a sports fan. They treated that man wrong. Even if he was a Raider, I'll say the same thing. They treated Jerry Rice wrong. And I'll leave it at that.
Hell. They let Roger Craig leave. Hell, they treated Joe Montana.
Wore a Raider jersey.
I get it.
Ain't that some shit?
The Raiders definitely
they almost
other people as well.
Hell,
because they got Warren Sapp from us.
They treated Derek Carr wrong just as well. I'll throw that out there. 9 years, and that's how you treat them. That's kind of messed up. So,
but I mean, again, it fucking great having you guys on. We need to do this more often, and stuff like that. On y'all show and then on our show too. We need to do this type of stuff more often. It's real good.
just
But Dub, Mizzle, we appreciate the hell out of you guys for giving time. I know it was really last. I know it was really last minute, but you guys gave a good amount of your time to come in and shoot the shit, and I feel like it was productive, a lot of good content and everything on there.
Absolutely.
So, everybody from the Jaffo Army, we appreciate you guys for being with us on this Tuesday, Thursday Night Football. You're gonna see it, and then we'll come back on Friday and do a recap of everything that day, and then make our predictions and
not
so
to
forth
mention
going into Sunday and Monday.
the return
And
of the college podcast. Come on.
Yes, there's 7 p.m. this Thursday, the return of the Ring Psychology podcast, 2.0 this time. So getting into the professional wrestling aspect of everything. So that is that's going to be fun. So check that out on the Tornado Bros Productions YouTube channel, where you're checking this out right here. All the socials and everything like that, that's all going to be coming. Essentially, I'm going to drop all of that the day the content and everything like that comes out after that. So pretty much all the socials, everything will be dropped this Friday. But the show live, the debut, will be on the Tornado Bros Productions YouTube channel. So don't miss out on that. Once again, Dub, Mizzle, appreciate you guys. Everyone from the Jaffo Army hanging out.
Appreciate you.
Love you guys. We'll see you guys on Friday, and then
I'll be back, brother.
we'll see you guys on Thursday. For myself, JP, for the 610 Beast from the Southeast, Mr. Country K, for Devin Mizzle. I said drizzle for a second. It's drizzle.
it's a lot of.
We'll see you guys next time. We'll see you guys next time. Deuces.